I'm CA Dipti Jain from GyaanStation. Welcomes you all to today's very important and most awaited webinar on Union Budget 2024. Though every forum is conducting sessions on budget, lekin, as always, we tried to bring the best for all our audience. The exclusive combination of speakers, Bimal Jain sir from Delhi for GST and the Bimal Punamia sir from Mumbai with their experience and knowledge will give you the best, realistic, and practical impact of recent changes brought in by our Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman ma'am. All the participants will be provided special budget documents crafted by our speakers for our participants on GyaanStation WhatsApp community. Here, I can proudly say that this webinar is exclusively and jointly is a combination of various organizations. We have done association with Income Tax Bar Association, Ahmedabad, All Gujarat Federation of Tax Consultants, Gujarat State Bar Association, Tax Advocates Association Gujarat, EMSME and MSME Bharat Manch, a platform of 15,000 MSMEs and startups. Along with this, we welcome all our audience in today's webinar, and I also recognize the presence of all the presidents, the committee members from various organizations, though it's very difficult to take the name of having the constraint of time, but would like to recognize the presence of Advocate Anil Timbadia ji, Rajendra Sharma ji, from Mumbai, Dr. G. Ramesh Kumar from MSME Bharat Manch, CA Asha Sharma from Delhi, from Team GyaanStation, and also the Advocate Shailesh Makhwana ji, and our own Sridhar Shahji, the President of Income Tax Bar Association. Sorry if I missed any to recognize the presence of any of the persons, but you are always there in our mind and hearts. And thank you for all the efforts put in by you to make this event a grand success. Directly coming to the GST aspect of this union budget, we have our speaker expert, CA Bimal sir, with us. And I here take the sheer pleasure and honor to introduce him in today's webinar. Sir is having more than 24 years of experience in indirect taxation and specializes in all aspects of goods and service tax, value-added tax, central sales tax, central excise, customs, foreign trade policies, special economic zones, export-oriented units, and export-import laws. He is the founder at A to Z Tax Corp LLP, a boutique of indirect tax firm. He is the president of National of CTI, is for Council for CA, CS, CMA. He's the chairman of the Corporate Advisory Committee of IPEM Group of Institutions, member of Indirect Tax Committee of SCHAM and FICCI, special invitee of Indirect Tax Committee of ICAI and ICSI, member of eminent faculties in Indirect Tax Committee for CA, CS, CMA. As far as his awards and recognition is concerned, he is the keynote speaker at Guinness World Record made by ICSI in largest taxation lesson on GST, attended by 4,500 plus participants, breaking earlier record held by Japan. Gold Award as Best Facilitator in GST by Tax India Online. Business Leader Award from MET School, Noida. Best Speaker Award from NIRC, given by the ICAI and ICWAI. He is the holder of Young Achiever Award at Igniting Mind 2015 and Best Participant Award in MSOP 117th batch by ICSI. With these words here, I take sheer pleasure and honor to welcome Bimal sir on behalf of all the organizations and on behalf of our audience. In today's webinar, the sir dais is all yours. Over to you.
At the outset, let me thank CA Dipti ji from GyaanStation for organizing this webinar on Union Budget 2024. Alongside, I'm being told there are a number of other associations who are also joining today, and their key personnel, Mr. Sridhar, Mr. Joydeep, Dr. G. Ramesh Kumar, and my co-speaker today, Bimalji, on income tax, and all the participants who are joining from different part of the country. Thank you very much once again. And there's some voice echo is going on. Maybe panelists need to mute themselves. Yes, thank you. So having said that, now without any further delay, let me start my presentation. And I'm going to tell you the number of changes in GST which is made by Finance Bill 2024 one by one. Lot of things you must be knowing by this time now, but I will still try to give more clarity. And there's question answers tab for each one of you. So in case you feel like some clarity you want, you can always write back in question answers tab. I can view what you're writing, what you're asking, and definitely during my deliberation, I will try to reply back those queries as well. See, if you look at from Union Budget perspective 2024, there are clause number 110 to clause number 153. There are 43 clauses in Finance Bill impacting GST changes. And we are going to discuss important changes. And definitely not only changes, I will give you the opinion also. Because there are way forward action which we need to take for the interests of our client and definitely professional services, and without saying professional fees also. So be ready, listen to those changes and try to build on those changes, because opinion also I will give it to you. First change, that ENA is being taken out from GST perspective, which is used for manufacturing of alcoholic liquor for human consumption. In chargeable section 9, subsection 1 of CGST Act, they have excluded. Similar provision is being made under IGST, UTGST also. So this is the first change. And it is coming because 53rd GST Council meeting has recommended the same. Second one, Section 11A got inserted. What is Section 11A? You have seen in GST regime that a lot of circular are being issued as is where is basis. Why these circulars are being issued? For the region, if there is non-levy, maybe trade is not charging GST on certain supply of goods or services. For the region, they are assuming it is nil rated or exempted. Or they are short levying. Short levying means it is 18% taxable, but they are charging 12%. There's an interpretation issue. So on two count, non-levy and short levy. If GST Council recognize those problems, they have issued number of circular in the past as its wage basis. What is as its wage basis? They are saying, okay, if you have not charged GST in the past, no problem. Or if you have short charged, no problem, but you should not collect. That is the only thing you should keep to your mind. And they're saying you need not require to pay GST. You need not require to pay GST as its wage basis. So that is by way of circular, but there was no corresponding provision in the Act. Now they have inserted Section 11A under CGST Act. Similarly, they have included under IGST Act, Section 6A, giving power to the government as per recommendation of GST Council and making all these circular now legitimate and within four corners of law. So two changes I have said. Coming back to the important change. Now this you must capture. because this is going to be one of the biggest change, I will say, and way forward opinion also, what you need to do. Let's start with an example so that you can understand the change, and then you can apply the same in your professional practices. I'm advocate, and you all become business entity. You have taken services from Bimal Jain, let's say on 1st January 2020. 1st January 2020. Now today, on 27 July 2024, we are discussing advocate services to business entity is chargeable under reverse charge method. As a business entity, you need to pay GST. But there may be a case that you have not paid GST under reverse charge. You may have forgotten. Or there may be a case you'd be thinking, I have not paid amount to Bimal Jain. And we can take example of 10 lakh rupees invoice raised by Bimal Jain, which you have not paid. So you're thinking RCM is not applicable. That might be the case. Third could be, if RCM applicable for some region, can you pay now on 27 July 2024? Fourth question, if I pay now, can I take credit today in 24-25 pertaining to 19-20 financial year? Is it not going to be barred by limitation under section 16 subsection 4? If I'm paying RCM today, fifth question, whether interest is going to be leviable. Sixth question, what would be the eligible document on which I will avail credit? So many questions, right? And you will get answer of all these questions at one go. You have to only listen very carefully. There's corresponding change in Union Budget 2024 under section 13 subsection 3, which is time of supply for reverse charge method, and section 31 subsection 3 clause F, which is pertaining to self-invoice by the recipient. Now listen very carefully. What is that? Whenever you are procuring notified goods or services, notified goods means notification number 4/2017. Services means 13/2017, notified services, subject to reverse charge.
भी ऑफिस पहुंचा ना थोड़ी देर पहले, ऑफिस पहुंचा अभी थोड़ी देर पहले।
Excuse me,
ऑस्ट्रेलिया में
panelists,
थे हम।
kindly mute yourself. Okay. So when you're procuring from unregistered supplier, then you as a recipient need to pay GST, no doubt about it. But what would be the POT? What would be the eligible document? Reverse charge applicable, not applicable? I'm going to solve all these queries with this changes. Now they are saying, Bimal, if advocate has raised the invoice on 1st January 2020 and advocate is not registered in GST, it is you who is registered as a business entity, you need to pay under reverse charge. So any relevance of advocate raising invoice? No relevance. You as a recipient need to raise self-invoice to yourself. Self-invoice to yourself. So when 1st January 2020 you got the services, you should raise self-invoice on 1st January 2020, which you didn't do. You are raising today on 27 July 2024. Can you do that? Yes, you can do that. And why you will do on 27 July 2024? For the simple reason this self-invoice going to be eligible document for you as a recipient to avail credit, subject to reverse charge liability paid by you as per Rule 36(1)(b). Now, when this is eligible document, self-invoice raised by you on dated 27 July 2024, which you were supposed to raise on 1st January 2020, there is one violation. You didn't raise the invoice on time. So there would be penalty under section 122. And this circular, recent circular number 211, dated 26 June 2024, clearly saying, okay, if you have not raised invoice on time, then there would be penalty. And penalty is how much? 50,000 rupees, 25 CGST, 25 SGST. Under section 122, subsection 3, clause E of CGST Act. So I've done the violation for not raising invoice on time, but keeping in mind, if I raise the invoice with the past dated, then I will not get the credit. That's the reason I'm raising in today's date. So 24-25 would be the relevant financial year to check time limit to avail credit. So you will get the credit. Having said that, this RCM is applicable. Maybe this question will come to your mind when you have not paid to the advocate. RCM is liability. Time of supply, section 13, subsection 3, earliest of the three. First, date of payment by you, which you didn't do. Date following the end of 60 days from the date of invoice raised by the supplier, and supplier who is a registered supplier. For that, this provision applicable. Wherever you're procuring from unregistered supplier, Bimal Jain, advocate, your date of invoice, self-invoice, would be the POT, point of taxation, which you should have raised on 1st January 2020, but you're raising on 27 July 2024. This is the only violation. But date of invoice should be 27 July. You will pay RCM today, but along with interest, it should have been raised on 1st January 2020. Interest is liability, so RCM you will pay today. RCM liability paid in cash. It can't be paid through credit ledger. Even interest applicable, it should be paid through cash. So both the things you will pay in cash. Can you avail credit? I've given the answer. You can avail credit. What about interest? No credit available. It is pertaining to unregistered supplier. Whenever you're procuring notified goods or services under section 9 subsection 3 or section 9 subsection 4. Had it been case of registered supplier, GTA, Goods Transport Agency, and then it is under reverse charge, can you apply the same provision? If GTA is registered, then his invoice, GTA invoice, would be the eligible document, because he would be raising the invoice under GST, and date following the end of 60 days would be the POT, and you should have paid by 1st March 2020, and that 1920 would be the relevant financial year for availing credit. So wherever you procure from registered suppliers subject to RCM in your hand, your credit is gone. Only for unregistered supplier, this credit is available. Kindly read circular number 211, dated 26th June 2024. Along with the changes under section 13, subsection 3, read with section 31, subsection 3. This is the first on RCM. Hope it is clear to my all participants. Next change. Section 16, subsection 5. Before I move, I really want someone to say yes or no to me so that I understand they are getting my point. So I could see Dipti is around, Asa is around. Okay. So if you can just write yes to me, it will help me at least that yes, you got it. Because then I get a feeler of it that yes, you're getting my point. You know, initial years, we could not take credit on time, and thereby time limit as prescribed under section 16, subsection 4 got lapsed. What was the time limit, by the way, under section 16, subsection 4? Earliest of two, due date of furnishing return under section 39 for the month of September following the end of relevant financial year. And under section 39, 3B was the return. Or due date of furnishing annual return, whichever is earlier. From 1st October 2022, what was the change? They have omitted due date of furnishing return under section 39 for the month of September following the end of relevant financial year, and that is being omitted, and 30th November is being put in place. Or due date of furnishing annual return, whichever is earlier. This is the change from 1st October 2022. But what happened in the past, lot of taxpayer could not avail credit within time. So their credit was denied. And these cases has gone to different high court on constitutional validity, and all the high court has given judgment against the taxpayer. We filed SLP in the Supreme Court. Notice was issued to the revenue, and they were supposed to file counter. Allow me just 1 minute, just 1 minute. Sorry. For you, I'm doing this webinar from Calcutta, and that too, I'm in a hotel at the moment. But it's a commitment, professional commitment. That's the reason I'm doing this program. But let me come back on point. SLP was filed in the Supreme Court. Notice was issued to the revenue. They were supposed to file counter, and we were representing this issue to GST Council. 53rd GST Council meeting has recommended, and now the change. Section 16, subsection 5. And it starts with a non-obstante clause, whatever written in section 16, subsection 4. And now saying for initial 4 financial year, please make a note, 4 financial year, 17-18, 18-19, 19-20, 20-21. If you have availed the credit in your 3B, and by 30th November 21, then you're entitled to avail credit. So all the problem of past, they have given some resolution. Only condition through 3B. So there may be some of the taxpayer, they have not availed in credit in their 3B, maybe in 9 and 9C. Or maybe a case they have not availed in 9 and 9C, they have availed in books, but neither shown in 3B nor in 9 and 9C. What happened to them? Is there any problem? Is there any solution? See, this change is only those who have availed in 3B by 30th November 2021. Otherwise, provision is not giving any relief, but from my side. Still, we can litigate this subject matter on this one broad parameter. Can department deny my credit just on the basis I have not availed in 3B? I'm only talking about those taxpayers who could not avail in 3B, maybe 9 and 9C, or maybe they have not shown in 9 and 9C. I can only tell you, and this is the ground which I'm sharing with all the participants today, until 1st October 2022, please listen carefully. Until 1st October 2022, there was statement called GSTR2, which was a credit document. It was coexisting along with 3B, and GSTR2 was never got implemented. When GSTR2 was never implemented, then how you can deny my credit? And there is judgment on that. Madras High Court in the case of Kevin HP Gas, Sanmuga Hardware Electricals, they have considered this point that GSTR2 was a credit document which never got implemented. Just because credit was shown as a nil in 3B or late file does not mean that credit would be denied. So those taxpayers who might not have shown in 3B, but having challenged now, this ground is still holding good. So I'm giving food for thought. I'm not only sharing changes in union budget, but I'm giving food for thought. So way forward. Coming to section 16, subsection 6. What is subsection 6 is talking about? You're a cancel dealer. You're a cancel dealer. Your registration got cancelled in GST. And because of cancellation, you may have faced, you're not able to file your 3B. And since you are not in a position to file your 3B, time limit to avail credit got lapsed. So what you will do? So section 16, subsection 6 got inserted. And what it is saying? It is saying now you'd be entitled. Once your revocation order is being passed, and if you are having time limit open like 30th November or due date of furnishing annual return, whichever is earlier, you should file your 3B by 30th November. If that 30th November is also gone from your revocation order, what you will do then, the condition, listen very carefully, you must file all your 3B, all return within 30 days from the revocation order for the period cancellation till revocation. Then credit would be available to you. Then credit would be available to you. That is section 16, subsection 6. Having said that, I will touch base important changes because then you will get to know that these are the important changes. Now I'm touching base one provision, section 39, subsection 3. If you are a TDS deductor, then you need to file GSTR 7, right? But we have seen if we are not deducting any TDS in a particular month, do we require to file GSTR 7, right? A lot of TDS deductor, we are not filing their GSTR 7. But now 39 subsection 3 is clearly saying, irrespective of fact, whether you deducted TDS or not deducted TDS, even it is nil, you need to file your GSTR 7. So that is 39 subsection 3. Coming back to section 50 subsection 1. What is section 50 subsection 1? Interest on delayed payment of GST, right? And before I take 50 subsection 1, let me touch base one important section, then I will come back to section 50 subsection 1 because that has got reference here. So you will understand in a clear terms. You know that within GST law, as on date, for the issuance of so-called notice and order, there were two sections, 73 non-fraud, 74 fraud case. Now they are clearly saying in this budget that BIML 73 and 74 is only applicable till financial year 23-24. 73 and 74 only applicable up to financial year 23-24. So does it mean there will not be any so-called notice order after this? There will be a new section 74A got inserted. 74 capital A got inserted. What is this 74 capital A? It is providing common timeline for issuance of so-called notice and order on 5 count: non-payment of taxes, short payment of taxes, erroneous refund, ITC wrongly availed or utilized, 5 count. Irrespective of fact, it is fraud case or non-fraud case. Common timeline now. Whether fraud or non-fraud, all done away with. So there's no like 73, 74, but common timeline. What would be common timeline? They're saying now they will issue a so-called notice in 42 months from the due date of furnishing annual return. 42 42 months from due date of furnishing annual return. In case of erroneous refund, 42 months from date of erroneous refund. So this is a timeline for issuance of so-called notice. What is the timeline for passing the order? They are saying now proper officer will pass the order within 12 months from the date of issuance of so-called notice, which can further be extended by 6 months by commissioner or any proper officer not below the rank of joint commissioner. So maximum time period going to be 42 months for so-called notice, 12 plus 6 months for passing the order. So 60 months, meaning thereby 5 years from due date of furnishing annual return. So this is what the clarity emerging. But only thing here, now fraudulent guy and non-fraudulent guy both are sitting on same boat. That is what the situation coming out. Having said that, now you'd be thinking, Bimalji, we have seen in 73 and 74 differential treatment for penalty provision. Do we have differential treatment? Okay, now time period is common for both of us. Are you giving differential treatment to fraudulent guy and non-fraudulent guy? Yes. What 74 capital A is saying, if it is a case of non-fraud case, non-fraud, then maximum penalty would be 10% of tax amount or 20,000. 20,000 or 10% of tax amount, whichever is higher. In case of fraudulent case, fraud, willful misstatement, suppression of fact, it is 100% of tax amount. But similar like 73, 74, they are given some time-bound phase. And what is that? Listen that one carefully. And this is way forward practice for you and applicable from 24, 25 onwards. So now what we are discussing today, we are discussing on 27 July 24, relevant financial year 24-25, it is applicable. So you must listen very carefully because this is the provision will apply to all of us together, pan-India. Of course, fraudulent and non-fraudulent are both on same boat. If it is a non-fraud case, if you pay the amount of tax and interest before issuance of so-called notice, then no penalty. And department will not issue any kind of so-called notice. If you pay tax, interest, and 10% penalty, can I say 10%? I'm just asking to all my viewers, they can let me know that what they are thinking about. If I pay, just allow me, yeah. You would be recalling 73 because I wanted to connect, that's the reason I paused here. And that's the reason I wanted to draw your attention. First, before issuance of so-called notice, no penalty. But if you pay within 60 days, which was earlier 30 days, from the issuance of so-called notice, tax, interest, then no penalty going to be levied. So two situations, before issuance and within 60 days of so-called notice. Non-fraud case. And if the 60 days gone after issuance of so-called notice, then no choice. Then penalty would be 10% of tax amount, non-fraud case. What would be fraud case? Before issuance of so-called notice, tax, interest, 15% penalty. If so-called notice is being issued, then tax, interest, and 25% penalty, but within 60 days as against 30 days. Earlier 30 days, now 60 days, 25% penalty. If order is being passed, then again also option for you, tax, interest, 50% penalty within 60 days of the order. 50. If this date is gone, then 100% tax penalty. 100% of tax would be penalty for fraud cases. I hope this part is clear to all of you. One more provision, critical provision. I do not know how many of you know about it, but very interesting one. If you have collected any tax amount, you need to pay within 30 days from the due date of payment of tax. If you don't pay, even though non-fraud case, 10% of tax amount penalty is leviable. 73 subsection 11 was existing. Similar provision they have introduced under section 74 capital A. So you have to bear in your mind, if collected and not paid within 30 days, 10% by default penalty, even non-fraud case. And this 74A, capital A, applicable from 24-25 onwards. I paused you when I was discussing section 50, subsection 1, and I want to take test here, test. So you need to be ready. You need to apply your mind so that I can find that you are really answering this question. Okay. Section 50, subsection 1 talks about interest on delayed payment of tax. Right? Interest on delayed payment of tax. You can answer within yourself. I will give my answer. You can just check and cross-check whether you are correctly answered or not. Let's say 1 lakh rupees is your tax amount which you need to pay, gross tax liability. And let's say you're having 80,000 lying in your e-credit ledger. So net 20,000 you need to pay in cash. As per section 50, subsection 1, there was provision that you need to pay interest only on net tax liability, 20,000 rupees retrospectively from July 1, 2017. We all know about it. But there were one exception. If any proceedings got initiated under section 73 or 74. So 73 and 74 now only up to 23-24 financial year. Now they have inserted 74A because that is applicable from 24-25 onwards. If any proceedings got initiated under section 73, 74, 74 capital A, then you need to pay interest on gross tax liability, 1 lakh rupees. Now here is the exam which I wanted you to give. You need to answer by yourself. I will give my answer. What is that answer? Let's say your due date of filing a July return is 20th August. And you got 1 lakh rupees liability. You got 80,000 rupees lying in your e-credit ledger. And there's 10,000 rupees also lying in your e-cash ledger. You're not having balance 10,000 rupees. So there was delay of 10 days. Let's say 30th August, you are filing this freebie. Now here in this case, my question to all of you. Interest is going to be leviable on 20,000 or 10,000. Excluding the balance lying in your e-cash ledger, what would be your answer? So you can answer, but answer is 10,000 rupees. And you know, Rule 88B got amended accordingly. Right, CGST rule amendment on 10 July 2024, 10,000 rupees interest applicable. So it's a big relief. And that's what Madras High Court decided in the case of ISIS Motors Limited. So I've said 50 subsection 1. Going further, there are certain provision where 74A reference is there. I'm not reading those section one by one. I'm just picking up the important one, which is igniting your mind. You must be knowing section 61, scrutiny of return. Scrutiny of return. You must be knowing this provision. And what is section 61, scrutiny of return? That on your return filing 1, 3B, 9, 9C, department undertakes scrutiny, right? They do scrutiny part of it. When they do scrutiny part of it, they issue discrepancy notice ASMT 10. ASMT 10. So Dhruv is the fast forward guy in the panelist. So it looks like he is doing a lot of GST practice. So Dhruv is posting answer very quickly before I come up in panelists, because all the participants are not on chat box, but I'm damn sure a lot of you are answering by yourself. I'm aware of. So kudos to each one of you. But look at section 61, ASMT 10, right? And you need to either pay the liability or reply them back, sir, no discrepancy, ASMT 11, right? So if you're replying and department is not agreeing, then ASMT 12, and then he can initiate proceedings against you under section 65, which is department audit, under section 66, which is audit by nominated chartered accountant or cost accountant when valuation and credit is in dispute, section 67, inspection, search and seizure, so-cause notice under section 73 or 74. Now they have inserted 74A also. Why 74A? Quite obvious, because 73 and 74 only up to financial year 23-24. 74A going to be applicable for financial year 24-25 onward. That's the reason it got inserted. And similar change they have done in section 62. You can check 63. You can check section 65. You can check section 66. Reference is there, 74A. So I'm not discussing all these individual sections, but I'm giving reference because wherever 73 or 74 was there, they have inserted 74A. Because of time, 24-25 onwards, 74A. Having said that, now let me touch base another important provision. So I'm just seeing that I'm not leaving the important one. Coming back to section 70, subsection 1A, important one. We get a lot of summon issued by the department, right? Sometimes they are issuing summon to CEO, CFO, and they want them to come and present before them, give statement. They are made sit for full day. So section 70, subsection 1A got inserted, and it is laudable one. Now, this provision is permitting that in case someone is being issued to you, you can authorize me as your tax professional. And I can go on your behalf to present before the summoning authority. And I can give the statement, fact, figures, of course, true and fair. That is onus on my head because you're authorizing me. But now this authorization will help to all key managerial professionals. They need not require to go to the department. They can authorize their authorized representative that can be within the company or outside the company as a tax professionals. So it's a laudable change and a good change I must compliment. So this is section 70, subsection 1A. Having said that, some of the provision which is you may not have noticed because I'm not going clause by clause, but background material I've given. It is there. And Dipti ji has a promise to each one of you that you will get this background material. And then a detailed comparison. What was the provision before? What is the provision now? And what is the effect? So please make sure that you are getting that background material from Dipti ji, so that it will help you to digest the changes. What all changes are being made, how the changes are affecting. I'm giving you in a lucid manner so that you can understand. You can enjoy at least. Coming back to section 75, subsection 2A. And this is a very interesting one. Sometime you have seen that you are being issued so-cause notice or order is being passed. under section 74, right? Which is fraud case. But later on, the court decide, no, it is not a fraud case. It is non-fraud case. So what happened? In fraud case, penalty could be 100% of tax amount, right? But once it is being said by honorable court, no, it is not a fraud case, then specific provision is being prescribed. It can be considered as a non-fraud case, and accordingly, penalty going to be reduced maximum to the 10% of tax amount. Good one. Laudable one. Coming back to another section, which is again relevant one. Have you heard of that you are filing your GSTR1? Let's say you are filing your GSTR1, your liability is only 10 lakh rupees. Only 10 lakh rupees. But when you are filing, and we know when we file GST, दिन में तो जाता नहीं है. जाता ही रात को है. आपसे एक जीरो ज्यादा लग गया. So 10 lakh become 1 crore rupees. GSTR1 आपने फाइल कर दिया. अब आपको 3B भरना है. Am I right? 1 करोड़ रुपए आप जमा करेंगे? नहीं करेंगे तो वो 10 लाख ही ना. वो तो जीरो गलती से लग गया. And GSTR1 we can't revise also, but you know they have introduced a new GSTR1A with lot of hue and cry. GSTR1A. What is GSTR1A? They are saying, Bimal, now you can insert and amend any entry which you have filed in your GSTR1 through 1A, but before filing 3B. But to me, looks like you do not know the full background of 1A. Let me tell you the background first, then I will connect you budget changes also. So let's say you filed one, I'm your buyer. When you filed one, you have put someone else's TIN number, GS TIN number. You did not file my GS TIN number, right? Of course, you can amend. Or maybe related transaction. My transaction, you forgot to file in GSTR1, you can add in GSTR1A. So for you, what would be the date you would be filing 1A? Can it be 14th? Because normally 11th is the date for monthly filer for one. And for 3B, 20th. So can you file on 14, 15, 16, 17? You can always file. None is stopping you. So that correct figure get auto-populated in your 3B for payment of tax. But what about the problem which I'm referring to? अगर 13th के बाद आपने भरा ना, after 13th, if you filed 1A, then corresponding credit which is available to me will not flow. Because 14th, my 2B gets auto-populated. Until then, you did not correct it. So I will not get the credit in that relevant month. I will get credit in subsequent month. Of course, you will pay the liability in this month by filing 1A. So that is the mismatch. So this was the 1A which I'm keeping aside, which already got introduced. I was on a point 10 lakh रुपया liability in one. एक जीरो की वजह से 1 करोड़ हो गया. Will you pay 1 crore? You will pay 10 lakh rupees only, right? But as per them, as per 75 subsection 12, budget change, 90 lakh is a self-assessment tax. And it can be recovered by the department without issuance of so-called notice. Under section 73, 74, now they are giving reference of 74A. They can recover. And you know, GSTR1 versus 3B, you get notice in DRC 01B Part A. You need to either pay or reply within 7 days. Part B of DRC 01B. Otherwise, recovery proceedings. So in 75 subsection 12, they are only inserting 74A. So without issuance of so-called notice in 73, 74, 74A, they can initiate recovery proceedings. But to my mind, no way. Section 37, I'm giving I said I'm not going to discuss only budget changes. I'm going to give you some platter for your future practice. Section 37 is empowering us. In case I've made any mistake in filing one, I can rectify any omission or error by 30th November. How can you initiate recovery proceedings? That was clerical mistake. But if you're habitual offender, because sometimes we are filing one with the higher figure, quite obvious. It can be for one region, two region, once or twice. It can't be habitual just to pass on excess credit. No way. Next time, this difference will not allow you to file your sequential filing of return. So this was on 75 subsection 12. Having said that, now pre-deposit. A lot of said about pre-deposit. Section 107 and section 112. That when you're filing appeal before first appellate authority, we have to make pre-deposit, compulsory pre-deposit. So filing appeal, what you need to do? First, you need to pay your admitted tax, interest, penalty, and late fees. You need to compulsory pay. And then 10% of disputed tax, subject to maximum of 50 crore. 25 CGST, 25 SGST. This is the existing provision. Now getting reduced to 40 crore. 20 crore CGST, 20 crore SGST, and IGST total 40 crore. So this is the first change, reduce to the 40 crore. When we go to the tribunal, tribunal is not yet formed. But look at from pre-deposit perspective, they are saying, Bimal, the existing criteria is 20% of disputed tax in addition to 10%. Don't forget. Subject to maximum of 100 crore. It is the existing provision. 50 CGST, 50 SGST. But now going to be reduced to 10% of disputed tax, subject to maximum of 40 crore. So this is what they have made change in pre-deposit. What additional change they have made in section 112? They have made additional provision that our Honorable President of GST 80 got appointed on 6th May 2024. When I look at the previous provision, my 3 months calculation has started from 6th May 2024. But as recommended in 53rd GST Council meeting, it is being the part of the act now that your 3 months criteria will start from a date to be notified. So you need not require to worry about. GST 80 is yet to be formed. So your 3 months criteria filing appeal will start from a date to be notified. Another change which is being done from anti-profiteering perspective, section 171, read with section 112, doing interplay. Anti-profiteering, you know, it is on 2 counts. That when GST started, government wanted, because of rate reduction, if any benefit is there in the hands of supplier, he must pass on to the consumer. Or ITC, which was not available earlier, but now available in GST, then to that extent, he should pass on the benefit to the consumer on 2 counts. Anti-profiteering. Otherwise, you as a consumer can file anti-profiteering application. But there is going to be sunset clause. 53rd GST Council meeting has said 1st April 25. Corresponding to that provision is being made. They are not saying the date, but they are saying they will notify the date. And that is the change in section 171. But further it is saying 112 that President of GST 80 is being empowered to decide what all cases to be heard by principal bench of GST 80. including anti-profiteering case. So after 1st April 2025, as recommended by 53rd GST Council meeting, all anti-profiteering case will be heard by principal bench of GST 80. That is what the next change. So this is in section 112. Having said that, the next important one, section 128, capital A. And it would be interesting to know for many, it's a kind of amnesty. So you must know what is this amnesty in GST they have announced. And very interesting one, this 128 capital A. If you are being issued so-called notice for non-payment, short payment, ITC wrongly availed or utilized, except erroneous refund, and so-called notice is being issued under section 73 non-fraud case for 3 financial year, 17-18, 18-19, and 19-20, 3 financial year. And it is all coming from the recommendation of 53rd GST Council meeting. Now they are saying, if you pay the demanded amount of tax, there would be full waiver, complete waiver of you will not require to pay interest or penalty. Complete waiver. You have to pay only demanded tax amount. By a cutoff date, of course, 53rd GST Council meeting said 31st March 2025, but as per law, they are saying from a date to be notified. So you have to wait. They will notify by what date you need to pay the demanded tax amount. But here is a catch, and this you must know carefully. It is so-called notice issued. What happen if order is being passed? Or what happen if you are in appeal? Then there are 3 clauses. 3 clauses. Please capture it properly. 3 clauses. I'm giving relief to all of you. So-called notice issued under section 73, but no order is being passed. Clause A. 128 capital A subsection 1 clause A. Clause B. Order is being passed under section 73, but your order in appeal is still pending. So that case is also covered. That case is also covered. Third case, order in appeal is also being passed, but order from tribunal is yet to be passed and tribunal is yet to be formed. All 3 cases are being covered. And they are saying if you pay the demanded amount, no interest, no penalty. Further, they are putting a condition that when your subject matter is in appeal, then you will withdraw such appeal, or under writ court, you need to withdraw your writ from the court, saying that you will not litigate the matter. Putting another conditions that if you have paid the interest or penalty, then no refund. Here I've got one big statement to make. In GST, 7 years of GST, you will agree with me. Those who are non-compliant taxpayer, they get advantage as against compliant taxpayer. And this is not correct. This is not correct. This is not going fine. Another important aspect, that in case you are in appeal and you have made pre-deposit, quite obvious, that might be the case, you have made the pre-deposit 10%. What happened to that? That will be considered towards your tax payment. So balance you will pay. Hope I'm clear. This message is clear to all of you. But interest and penalty once paid. There another question coming, sir, we have paid the tax amount full. Only dispute is interest or penalty. Can we get the relief? As per reading this provision, it is not giving. It is saying tax demanded. Unless there is tax demanded, then 128 capital A is not applicable. So maybe a subject matter for Honorable FM to consider and bring in amendment before finalizing this finance bill number 2, 2024. Another thing which I want to add here, and which you must know, there may be a case department has filed appeal against your favorable order. You got OIO under section 73 in your favor, but department has filed appeal. But you are having fear that it might not go in my way. It might go against me. So that kind of appeal is also being covered with a condition. If order and appeal decide some additional amount, the order passed for 100 rupees, let's say in your favor, and order and appeal decide for 120 rupees, then quite obvious you have to pay 100 plus 20 additional amount. And this additional amount to be paid within 3 months from the date of the order passed. This is the proviso in section 128 capital A. So I have communicated a lot about section 128 capital A. Now touch base another point which 3-4 more pointer. Then if you are having any question, I will take your question and then summarize. Coming back to section 140 subsection 7. Okay. Some of the changes which are small changes I have not touched base, but major changes I have given. And that, background material will definitely help you to get more digestion. Coming to section 140, subsection 7, transitional credit pertaining to input service distributor. Just think. 7 years of GST, still we are struggling with the transitional credit. And department was continuously, disputing. If ISD has received input services prior to appointed date, 1st July 2017, and he got the invoices after appointed date, on or after appointed date, but there was no prior date. So they were disputing this one. So now provision got amended retrospectively from July 1, 2017. Can you think of? 7 years. Even invoice received prior to or on or after appointed date, July 1, 2017, you will be entitled to avail credit. Schedule 3. Neither a supply of goods nor supply of services. 2 new entry got added. When there is a case of co-insurance, there are 2 insurers getting co-insurance done, and main insurers, lead insurer is paying the full GST liability, then there will not be any obligation on co-insurer. In case of reinsurance, again it's a case when GST paid on main insurance, main commission, there is no question of GST on reinsurance. This is 2 entry in Schedule 3, neither a supply of goods nor supply of services. Having said that, one important change. Section 54, subsection 15 of CGST Act read with section 16, subsection 5 of IGST Act. We have seen in the past that there was barring provision under section 54, subsection 3, that you will not get refund of ITC on zero-rated supply of goods, which is subject to export duty. You will not get ITC refund. But there was nothing barring provision for IGST. But at least now they have aligned both the provision together. They have inserted subsection 15 under section 54, and they have inserted subsection 5 under 16 of IGST Act, and clearly saying, now no way, neither refund of ITC nor IGST on zero-rated supply of goods subject to export duty. Under section 16, subsection 4, they are saying and clearly saying, and that is what they have inserted and say very clearly, that IGST refund, when you go for IGST refund as against ITC, it is IGST refund is barring for certain class of person and certain class of goods or services from 1st October 2023. Pan masala, gutka, you must be knowing, these cannot be exported on IGST. You have to compulsorily go back to ITC refund route, LUT route. So they have only given reference of that refund would be governed by section 54. That is what the correction they have made under section 16, subsection 4. Having said that, in holistic viewpoint, I have touched base all the relevant important one. Now, having concluded my session, all right. Let me have a look if I have left something. To my mind, I have not left anything, and all the things I have communicated. Again, to rephrase, there were clauses 110 to 153. So these clauses are making changes in Finance Bill number 2, 2024. Important changes is most visible from 16, 74A, 128 capital A. These are the three main changes. There are corresponding change which I have touched base during my deliberation. But in case you feel like some of the question you want to ask, definitely 5-10 minutes we can entertain your question, and then I will say sum up from my side. So I'm open for any question. Otherwise, I'm damn sure you need to echo and voice. You got all the digest in a comfortable way, in an easy language, which you wanted to understand today in this webinar on Union Budget 2024. Thanking Dipti ji, thanking all the association, and thanking each one of you who are taking out time and listening to me. I know 31st July is important date from ITR perspective. A lot of you are occupied today, but still they are taking out time and joining today. My sincere regards and compliment to each one of you. Thank you very much. And Dipti ji, maybe some question if you want. Otherwise, I'm okay.
Yes, so we can take up some questions. Am I audible enough?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have got few questions in the Q&A section. If you can go through it.
Mm-hmm.
So
you
there's a
want me to read and you want me to answer both.
So should I read? I want to take your permission to
No,
read.
you can always read Dipti ji, which is understandable, and then I can answer.
Okay. So there's a query from Kasturi Ranjan, and she is asking.
It's a IT question.
Yeah, it's
Please keep
IT
your line
avoided.
on.
Like so, sir, Asita is asking, Bimal sir, is GST they are passing all audit orders under section 74 only. So in that case, if dealer want to take benefit of 128A tax amnesty, appeal is filed. What can be done in that case to convert our case in 73? Please guide.
See, for this case, 128 capital A is also inserting one provision. If any notice and order is being issued under section 74, but on direction of the court or appellate tribunal, if this is being considered as a non-fraud case, then that will also be covered. So when it is in appeal, either you should get the appellate order, otherwise immediately you should file a writ petition, and before date notified, at least get the order, and direction should be given. It's not a case of 74, it's a case of 73 to get the necessary benefit of 128 capital A. Otherwise, if it is 74, then they will not give you the relief under 128 capital E.
Okay.
Yes, please.
So I would like to bring to the notice of everyone that the study material provided by Vimal sir, as well as which is going to be referred by Vimal sir also, I have shared the link with all the participants. It will be made available to on that link. So please kindly subscribe to that. Okay, thank you. And in case you miss out, please contact me. I'll provide that study material to all of you individually. Okay. And sir, the next question, which is, what if order is passed for notice and tax is fully paid and appeal is not filed? Will benefit of section 128A be available?
If so-called notice and order is being passed under section 73, if you say I paid 100% tax amount, now only dispute remain to interest and penalty, to my mind, this benefit must go to you, and rules we are awaiting in this regard. You can always say tax was demanded, which I paid, and that too before a cutoff date to be notified. To my mind, that will not be barring you, and you will get the relief. Only thing which is coming to my mind that, where interest and penalty dispute is existing, and they are only demanding interest or penalty. Because the word used, tax demanded, so tax demanded can be paid by you and then remain interest or penalty. And when so-called notice is not demanding tax, only interest, then that might be the distinction, and that is what the confusion all about pan-India. And to that extent, I've communicated that Honorable Finance Minister must consider, and to that extent, this provision require amendment.
Okay. The next question is, what happened to appeal filed against of section 16(4) order?
Appeal filed against section 64 order.
16, 16,
Six-
right.
Order.
Subsection 4 order.
Okay, say 16 subsection 4 then.
Yes.
If appeal is being filed under section 16 subsection 4, no problem. You will get the needed relief for initial 4 years. You have to only go back and show this provision to him, to the appellate authority. Sir, देखिए ये provision आ गया है. अगर मैंने 3B में 30 नवंबर 2021 तक क्रेडिट ले ली है, तो मुझे ये प्रोविजन क्रेडिट अलाउ करता है, एंड स्टार्टिंग विद नॉन ऑब्स्टेंटी क्लॉज. फिर क्वाइट ऑब्वियस है वो ऑर्डर आपके फेवर में पास करेगा, अपीलेट ऑर्डर, और फिर जो आपने प्री डिपॉजिट दी है वो आप रिफंड ले लीजिएगा. तो ये होगा आपके साथ.
Okay. So, can department levy penalty on wrongly claimed or availed ITC under any section?
See, this is the big dispute. If you look at ITC wrongly availed but not utilized, then there is no interest under section 50 subsection 3. But when we look at the provision under section 73 or 74, now 74A, they're still going with the distinction ITC wrongly availed or utilized. So they want to levy penalty even on wrong utilization, which is not utilized. But one or two judgment has come in recent times, which is clearly saying that you can't levy penalty if it is not utilized. So subject to litigation, but provision is not giving relief to us.
Okay. So the last two questions of the session, one more question has come. If notice under section 74 is received for supplier, not filed 3B, only filed GSTR1, and registration is cancelled even though we have paid GST and basic amount to supplier within time limit, then are we required to pay tax under section 74 along with interest?
See, you need not. This is a different issue. It has got nothing to do with the budget. This is a pan-India issue. Your supplier is, fraudulent one. Even after collecting, he has not deposited the tax. Section 16, subsection 2, clause C. Do we need to reverse credit? Means paying the tax, which he is asking me. To my mind, effective from 1st October 2022, when you look at section 41, subsection 2, then only reversal required. Prior to that, there was no provision of reversal, which is payment you're referring to. So to my mind, you can always defend yourself. No, for section 16, subsection 2, clause C, non-payment by the defaulting supplier, I need not require to reverse. You need to go back to the defaulting supplier and demand this tax amount.
Okay. So one more question. Departmental audit ongoing for the financial year 17-18, 18-19 and 19-20. Taxes paid but interest and penalty are claimed payable. As the 53rd GST Council meeting, there is a waiver of interest and penalty for the notices issued under section 73 if taxes are paid before 31st March 25. Will interest and penalty still be leviable?
I say that this is what we have discussed from first question. This is only continuation as a repetition.
Okay.
But nevertheless, Dipti ji, now I'm through and you are also through. We have reached to almost time period which
Yes.
we wanted.
Yes.
Before I say sign off and say thank you to my all the participants, I'm sure my whole of the audience must have enjoyed today's session.
Yes, sir.
I've tried my best to give elucid changes in Union Budget 2024. So stay tuned. A lot of things Dipti ji is doing on GyaanStation. So she is doing a lot of hard work for professional services to all of us together. So you're being benefited by her webinar and a lot of things she's taking initiative. Even to catch me on for this particular webinar, she blocked me and wanted me. Even I'm not in Delhi. I'm in Calcutta today. I was having seminar today in the morning at Calcutta. After doing that, I'm doing this webinar. It is all, we believe, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. And that is how we all are doing together. So thanking all the association who are joining today with Dipti ji and doing this program. Stay tuned, lot many, and Dipti ji, all the best to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your blessings. And sir, before I would like Sridhar ji, the president of Income Tax Bar Association, Ahmedabad, to please give the vote of thanks to our speaker who has been loved and very charismatic personality, being liked, and there's a whole fan following in India and abroad of him.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So
And sir,
participants,
it's really honor. We have it feels like a grand and loyal to have you at here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Over to
so
you, Sridhar ji.
yes, so participants, we have another session left, but before Bimal sir leaves the webinar, we wish to thank on behalf of all the association, and GyaanStation platform and all the participants, sir. Thank you for sparing time for us. Budget is like a festival for all us as a tax professionals. And in GST, budget comes every quarter now. But as you have explained things very lucidly and focusing on important parts of the 53rd council recommendation as well as the budget coverage, sir, we thank you for the clarity you have given. And we would definitely like to have again and again on this platform. Thanks, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Bimal sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So, friends, now coming on to our next very important session, the heart, the lifeline of India, the Indian economy, the subject, the income tax. And to speak on this, we have the best faculty, the person, CA Vimal Pumania ji has joined us. Sir, welcome you again in today's session. Sir, thank you so much, and it's so nice and humble of you to agreeing instead of having such a busy schedule after after 23rd of July, the announcement of budget, and sir is continuously being called upon by various organizations, but you are very kind enough to accept our invitation, and it's really honor for me as well as all the organizations, presidents and the managing committee who are present over here to have you and listen to you. Sir, before moving ahead, I would like to give a brief introduction of Vimal sir. Starting with his journey, sir is a scholar from the starting. He secured the 22nd rank in CA Inter and 35th rank in CA Final. In the year 1974, he qualified his chartered accountancy, which shows us he is having over 48 years of experience and working under his proprietorship firm, Vimal Punya and Company. He has given his services in the field of taxation, audit, company law, RBI, GST, cooperative society, stamp duty, registration, and other matters, appeal, search, and seizures. And he's attached with more than 250 companies, trust firms as an advisor, director, auditor of trustees. He had written number of books on the topic transfer of flat, stamp duty, registration, capital gains, search, seizure and survey, HUF and family arrangements, assistance and assessment and appeal procedures, NRI provisions. He had written various publications and articles. He's a regular author of various articles and publications, and he has been speaker of more than 2,500 seminars in India and abroad on the topic of public interest, that is, union budget, income tax provisions, stamp duty registration, cooperative societies, RBI provision, recent issues such as penny stock, Benami Transaction Act, assessment builders and developers. As a social obligations, he is holding presidential positions in various organizations like All India Business Council, Lions Club of Chowpatty. He is the chairman of Trust and Taxation Committee of Lions Club District and many more such prestigious organizations. Very important is here to mention that Sir has visited USA in the year 1997 as legal advisor to exhibition India Property 1997 and key speaker of various seminars chaired by High Commission of India in USA held at Chicago, Houston, Dallas, Los Angeles, New York, New Jersey, and many more cities. He is the recipient of various prestigious awards. To name a few, the Bharat Merchant Chamber, Accommodation Times, Rotary Club, Lions Club, Hindustan Chambers, Rajasthani National Services Association, Maharashtra Chamber of Housing Industry, State Agents Association of India, Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, Federation of Accommodation Industry of India, and many more. With these words, it's your honor, sir, to have you, and it's a treat to listen to you, sir. With these words, we all are awaiting to have insights from you on this budget 2024. Over to you, sir.
Thank
Sir,
you.
Sir, for your convenience, you can remove the virtual background.
I don't know how to remove.
Oh, okay, sir. Just
You can remove from that place, then you can do. Or I can call my junior who understands something. I think you muted. I can't hear you.
So I'll try my side. One minute.
Okay. Oh, photo is coming some in different way, some light on eye on, some light on face on. Something.
Yes. That's why just be comfortable.
I can start now.
I'm not able to remove the virtual background.
It is from my side actually. They look like
Yes.
that.
आप अपनी साइड से रिमूव
मैं
कर
देख
सकते हैं,
मैं
आपके
मोबाइल को
ऑप्शन है
एडजस्ट करता हूँ किधर, लेकिन कुछ होने वाला नहीं है लगता है.
ये जस्ट नेक्स्ट टू वीडियो देयर इज वन स्मॉल एरो.
ठीक, लेट मी कॉल माय पर्सन.
हाँ.
अरे कपिल, मैडम क्या बोल रहे सुनो.
Yes, ma'am.
Kapil, please click the side arrow next to the video icon.
Video.
Yeah.
Yes. You're
There
telling
you get an option, choose virtual background. हाँ. यहाँ पे please click the none option.
1 second, madam. 1 second. You're telling on the video, ma'am.
Yeah. आपका वीडियो आइकन के नेक्स्ट टू वीडियो आइकन देयर इज वन स्मॉल एरो.
Yes, madam.
हाँ, उस पे क्लिक करिए. देन यू गेट एन ऑप्शन चूज वर्चुअल बैकग्राउंड.
Choose virtual background. Yes, madam.
हाँ, उसको कर दीजिए रिमूव.
उसको कर दूं मैं.
नन
None.
ऑप्शन.
Okay.
परफेक्ट
एकदम
परफेक्ट.
परफेक्ट.
थैंक यू सो मच.
ये फोटो बीच में देखो.
परफेक्ट.
एकदम
Now sir is in his full form, looking very handsome, sir.
Thank you, thank you. May I start?
Yes, sir.
Up to what time your allotted time?
Sir, 6 o'clock.
Oh, very good,
1.5 hour.
very good, including question answer, correct?
Yeah.
Madam CA Dipti, madam. CA Sridhar ji, CA Ashwin Tekwani ji, Advocate Sailesh bhai, Advocate Jaideep bhai, and my friend Vimal ji in absentia, I think he left, and friends. Now we will discuss all amendment in finance bill, particularly relating to income tax. I will cover practically everything because I already given 9 lectures on this topic. Today is the 10th. And another 10 I have to give in next few days. New Income Tax Act with certain present act will be certain modification is coming very shortly. 1 second, let me, I mean, something have come here. I don't know. That will be come within 6 months, but I have my own doubt whether that will come. Why I have doubt? Because earlier also Chidambaram Sahab somewhere in 2004 also said new act will come. Committees were appointed, committee has recommended, they've given various recommendations. They made act also new act running into 254 pages. And very simple, whatever you comes in is the income, whatever goes out is expenditure, and balance may you to pay the tax. Then just to study that, some another committee was appointed. And one after the another, 3-4 committees were appointed. And finally they said, we are not going to come with a new act. So 6 months is very less period. And whatever they appoint, any committee or internal committee or outside committee, which will take years to decide the matter. So, but anyway, let us hope for the best because everything is going on very right direction. Things are improving. Majority of persons are very happy. Before
Sir,
I proceed with the clause by clause,
sir, I would like you to tilt the screen little bit towards your side. आपकी तरफ थोड़ा सा आगे कर दीजिए.
ऐसे?
हाँ, yes, थोड़ा सा और पीछे थोड़ा सा पीछे. Yes, perfect, sir. Perfect. Thank you so much.
In our country, we have 8 crore SSC. Of course, PAN card is more than 30-40 crore. Out of 8 crore SSC, last year 5.5 crore person have filed the return. So 250 have not filed the return at all. Out of 5 crore 50 lakh, only 2 crore person have paid the taxes. Remaining was all below taxable. Out of these 2 crore, only few thousand have shown income above 1 crore rupee. I repeat, few thousand. As against that, in our country, we have 20 lakh BMW, Mercedes, Audi, and other cars which cost more than 1 crore rupee. So you can think of what is the structure of the tax. But anyway, in the last 5 years, after demonetization, the income tax collection has gone up nearly 2.5 times by the individual as well as the corporate. So that is again good sign. Salary, the person is going up and up. So tax, they have no choice. They have to pay the tax. But anyway, whatever it is, let remain as it is. Let us discuss one by one all the amendment. Whenever I tell you some amendment, I will also tell you what are the background, what will be effect of the amendment. So then you know more picture will be clear. Overall, there are 110 amendments in Income Tax Act in the Finance Bill 2024. Out of 110, roughly 50% are just in a procedural nature. Like voluntary disclosure scheme, one amendment I count, 11 will be how to implement that. So effectively, there are 55 amendments which connect directly to the citizens of this country. Out of 55, nearly 35 is in favor of SSC and remaining 20 is against the SSC. So we'll discuss all, and only one amendment is there which is retrospective in nature. Normally, earlier budget, if you see, before 2014, 10-15 amendment used to come retrospective in nature. We were not clear that time how it will apply, how they will give effect to the retrospective assessment which is already completed, but they used to apply only to the pending appeals, where pending appeal was pending before Commissioner Appeal, or a tribunal, or CIT appeal, CIT appeal, tribunal, High Court, Supreme Court. Whenever any amendment come, I told you there are 8 crore SSC, out of there only 2 crore pay the taxes. But whenever something come against the SSC, like tax goes up or capital gain tax go down or go up, or 65 crore persons are there in our country who object to that. They take morcha here, there. They don't even know what income tax is. But whenever there's something goes wrong, something is there, they come up. Now, one by one, we'll tell. Wherever amendment is important, I will tell you in a detail. Wherever amendment is not that important, then I will just inform you and pass on to next. So we can discuss more wherever it is more important. Now, friends, change in the slab rate of the tax. We have 2 regimes, old regime, new regime. Now, practically by default, new regime come everywhere. If you want to follow the old regime, then you have to apply for that. You have to file certain form before a particular day. Otherwise, you follow the new regime. When this new regime came 2 years back, difference was, if you go under the old regime, then you get deduction of all items. All item in the sense, water, LIC, Provident Fund, premium, this, that, what we pay, we able to claim deduction of that. But the new regime, those deductions are not available. And what is available, a person can take money, because cost has gone up like anything. Earlier in household expenditure, we were spending 25,000 per year. Now today we have to spend lakh of rupee per year. Per month. So costing has gone up. The person want more and more money in their hand. So when they will get there in hand, if they don't invest money, more liquidity will be available. Now, and tax also in new regime was less. Difference between the old regime and new regime, difference was coming to nearly 1,87,000 rupees. So many person, at least 2/3 of the taxpayers have come under the new regime. They are not filing return under the old regime, they are filing under the new regime. Individual, HUF, company, partnership firm, LIP, OP, all. Now, second item, what is the, old new regime was followed. 1/3 still want to invest in the LIC, PPF, bank loan, etc., etc. House rent, house allowances, interest paid for the housing, or various other items, donation. Last year, they said, new regime. Now, this year, they've reduced further taxes in the new regime. Earlier, like, earlier slab was 3 lakh to 6 lakh, 6 lakh to 9 lakh, 9 lakh to 12 lakh, 12 lakh to 15 lakh, 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, 25%. So under the new regime, what have they done? 3 to 7, 5%, 7 lakh to 10 lakh, 10%, 10 to 12, 15%, 12 to 15, 20%, and remaining will be 30%. So because of this adjustment also, person can save 17,500 rupees per year. What 1,87,000 compared to old and new, that is different. But the new regime, I can save further 17,000. So it is because they want to make more and more attractive. Last time it was amended, even in the new regime, person who is a salaried employee, they will be able to claim 50,000 rupees per year by way of a standard deduction on account of conveyance or whatever. That 75,000 has gone up. That 50,000 has gone up to 75,000. So further attraction. But if you are following the old regime, you will get still 50,000. Similar way, salaried employee who having pension fund scheme, if earlier the limit was 15,000 rupees or 1/3 of the salary, now it is 1/3 of the salary and increased to 25,000. That also will apply to new regime, specifically extra amount. Then there is a case of a family pension. Income from other sources shall be computed after deduction under section 57. Now, friends, next item. In case of a new regime salary, TDS will be on income. What happened? For example, I am working in Reliance industry. Let us do my salary is 10 lakh rupee per month. And I buy, for example, a car exceeding more than 10 lakh. I buy jewelry for my wife. I buy a very hi-fi this TV or something else where cost is more than 10 lakh rupee. There, TCS I have to pay 1%. And just to pay, and TCS is like one type of tax payment, like advance tax. Finally, I will get set off in my return, but I have no other income other than the salary. Then I have to file my return to claim the TCS, and my money will block for a year or so. So what happened now? Under the TCS, for the TCS what I deducted, now under the new provision, if I inform my employer that my TCS is this much or TDS is this much, then employer will consider that amount while giving rebate to me or by deducting tax out of my income. So my money will not block, but return, if I'm liable to file, I have to file the return. A person who don't have only a salary income, in that case, some scheme is there. Employer also can file the return. So we are not going to that what we are in the old, but I can claim my TCS and TDS after informing the employer, and he will deduct this much less amount from me. In case of a foreign company, now we know new regime is applicable. First to the started with the company. If they follow new regime, they pay only 22%. Otherwise, company rate of tax is 25%. All new manufacturers, 15%. There are certain conditions when they started production and when they completed or whatever 4-5 years, that is there. Startup pay only 15%. Individual person pay tax 37%, but under the old regime, they pay surcharge of 37%. And if they follow new regime and their income is more than 5 crore, they pay surcharge of only 25%. Capital gain, you all know 20% plus surcharge of 3% plus execution cess of 4%. So we finally work out to 23.92%. Companies, foreign company were paying earlier also 40%. And now after the amendment, they will pay 35%. So some rebate has been given to the foreign company. Surcharge applicable to individual HUF, AOP for the new regime, I told you they pay 25%. Otherwise, normally, they are liable to pay up to 37% in case of income more than 5 crore. Now, what note I prepared, which I sent to madam, and they will circulate to you also. So if something is missing, then you can cover up that. Because just now I will take only important issues. Now, major amendment has taken place, and every newspaper give various type of calculations. That capital gain indexation is removed. Rate of tax have reduced from 20% to 12.5% in case of a other asset like property, land, building, office, industrial gala. And in case of a share market, long-term capital gain 10% to 12.5%. Short-term capital gain in share market 15% to 20%. And other asset, short-term gain, normal rate of tax 30% or whatever slab person falls. Here, let me give you some background. Before 2004, capital gain was taxable. Everyone was paying the capital gain tax. There were two slabs. If you go back to 1975, and that time to real estate, 10,000 was free. Balance 25% of the capital gain was free. In case of other than real estate, 40% was free. Then from time to time, various amendment came. Let us take a cut point of 2004. Before 2004, capital gain was taxable, long-term, short-term. Like other asset, shares are also part of it. 2004, our finance minister was Chidambaram. And Chidambaram Sahab said, there is a lot of litigation in a capital gain, particularly we conducted with the stock market. SSC saw capital gain, department take as a business income, department saw SSC saw as a business income, department take as a capital gain. Whatever suits to department, and litigation was going on and on and on. And corruption was also on the top. That time, Chidambaram said that he worked out something, what is the revenue is coming out of the capital gain, short term, long term, all. And then he said, in finance speech of 2004 budget, para number 111, he said, today on, I want to settle the dispute of the capital gain forever. So I want to make long-term capital gain of stock market where shares are quoted, is tax-free completely. And short-term capital gain of the stock exchange where shares was quoted, I will want to make it 10%. And believe me, there was a miracle. Nobody asked the shares should be tax-free, but he made it tax-free. But he said to compensate that revenue, what revenue loss will be there? I want to start a tax STT, security transaction tax, and which was 15 paisa against 100 rupee. And he said, his calculation shows that in case whatever government will lose on account of capital gain, they will earn much more than the STT. And really, it was very fruitful. Today, STT also give collection of more than 12,000 crore. Now, what has happened? In this budget, what happened? Government, when want to give incentive to somebody, they make it tax-free or give rebate or concession or whatever. Now, what they said, then somewhere in 2020, government said shares will be not exempted, dividend will be not exempted. Dividend may what happened? Dividend distribution, the company used, if you go back, then person who received the dividend, they were showing as income from other sources and paying the tax. Then the law was amended, shareholder will not pay the tax. Company will pay the tax, which will be known as a dividend distribution tax. And company was liable to pay the tax as a dividend distribution tax. So shareholder was not paying anything. Of course, money finally going from shareholder only. A company want to declare dividend of 25%, they know I have to pay 5% TCS, tax declared source. So they will pay only 20%. But end of the day, person don't have to pay from his pocket. So he was very happy. Now 2-3 amendment came. First, so they said dividend will be taxable. And it will be taxable as a normal rate of tax. In whatever dividend you are earning, it will be added to your income. Further, they said, now long-term capital gain also will be taxable. But they given 2 concessions. They say 1 lakh will be free. Remaining capital gain will be taxable at the rate of 10%. And not normal rate of 20% or whatever other percent. If shares are quoted, they are listed, then 10%. And further, they said, up to 2018, it was exempted. They said it was exempted. So up to 31st of January 2018, that will treat it grandfather, some clause they will put. I don't know what is relevant for grandfather in the Income Tax Act, but they say grandfathering law. Because recently amendment also they say angel tax. I've seen all 300 sections, there is nothing called angel tax. But in public normal language, maybe call it angel tax. So they also say angel tax. So they say, in short, I can say 31st January, whatever the market value of this year will be taken as your cost. So it means up to that point of time, it will be free. And remaining amount only, we are liable to pay the tax. Indexation was not allowed here earlier also. It will be not allowed. So 12.5% tax without indexation, 2018 value ka deduction, 1 lakh which was free in the long-term capital gain tax in the case, that extended to 1,25,000. So overall, you pay extra 2.5%, that gets set off against the 25,000 extra. But even then 1 or 2% higher and there, person who want to deal in the share, he will deal in the share because 2% gone up. And after that also index is not substantially affected. It is first they got short back on 23rd, then later on it is increasing only. Now, this is the first sale. And short-term capital gain, earlier 15% will become 20%. Now, let us come to other estate. Now, in real estate, what happened? Real estate, all builders are on practically shouting like anything. Now, what will happen to real estate industry and this and that? Nothing will happen. After 23rd, at least I made calculation about 29 clients who came to me in last 3-4 days. I worked out in their case. Everywhere it was beneficial to the SSA and not against the SSA. They are paying less because earlier capital gain tax payable was 20% plus surcharge plus education cess. Now it is a 12.5%. What is difference? Indexation is not allowed. Indexation will be not allowed. They are going to take their actual cost. Of course, some senior secretary of finance ministry also said just now, stamp duty, registration charges also will be not allowed. That is, I don't think he don't know what the Income Tax Act is. Well, how we can make such a statement? Because stamp duty, registration charges, transfer fee, legal charges, they are part of the cost. And you can't deny the cost. If somebody incur abnormal cost, okay, that can be questionable. But principally, stamp duty, if I want to buy the property, I have to buy along with the stamp duty only. I have to pay stamp duty on that. If I not paid, seller paid, then yes. If I paid, then I'm liable to pay stamp duty. So that cost will be allowed. Even the fourth time, sometimes law pass abnormally, whatever they want, but courts are there in India. 22 High Court and Supreme Court is there. And finally, it will be decided stamp duty allowed. So anyway, we go on the assumption that stamp duty will be allowed. So that all will be part of the cost. And whatever actual loss, actual profit will be taxable at a 12.5%. So instead of 20, you will pay 12.5%. Actually, damage has been done 2 years back when law was amended under section 54 and 54F, and they brought ceiling of 10 crore in real estate. That time real loss was there. Let me give you an example. There's given section 54. What the 54 say? If you make any capital gain on sale of a residential house, and whatever profit you are making after deducting cost, index cost, that you invest 1 year before to buy another residential house, or within 2 years you buy ready-made house, or within 3 years you construct your own house, then you are not liable to pay capital gain tax on the amount whatever you invested for the purchase of flat, including stamp duty, including registration charges, including brokerage, including legal charges, and any other expenditure which you incur to make the flat habitable. All will be allowed, and you are not liable to pay the tax. What was the amendment that time? They say, same is for 54F. If you sell residential house, then 54. If you sell any asset other than residential house, for example, I sell my shop, my office, industrial gala, land, gold, silver, securities, all long-term asset, tenancy rights, then 54F will be applicable. 54F, when there are certain conditions, first, there should not be sale of a residential house, this should be sale of another thing. Second, that whatever you sold should be capital asset. It should not be your stock in trade or other thing. Third, I have no house of my residence, I can buy one. I already have one house, I can buy second. I already have two houses, I cannot buy third. That is the condition in 54. 54F, which is not there in 54. 54, when I have 100 house, still I can buy 101, which is not permitted in 54F. Then what happened here? Their government brought the ceiling that the deduction under 54 or under section 54F cannot exceed more than 10 crore of rupee. That was the real damaging point, and all big taxpayer who made a big capital gain was suffering. Now, let me give an example. One of my client, when he came from Pakistan at the time of partition, his father purchased one property in Delhi, 11 acre of a land, and he paid 1100 rupee, 100 rupee per acre. And today price there is 50 crore rupee per acre. Now he paid 1100. He passed away. He had 3 sons. So land was divided after his death to 3 children. One third. So all got roughly 3.75% or whatever something. One son sold the property in a before 31st March 2022, means financial year 21 to 22, assessment year 22-23, and he got 80 crore rupee on account of a sale. Now he's purchased, father purchased, so cost of father will be the cost of son, date of purchase of father will be date of son. So father purchased in 47, so it will be assumed the son is also purchased in 47. Father paid 1/3 of the 1100, so it will be assumed the son is also paid 1/3 of the 1100. So he has right to substitute the value of 1st April 2001. That figure was coming to roughly 50 lakh of rupee. I was also allowed to make indexation of that, so it worked out to roughly 1 crore 50 lakh rupee. Out of sale proceeds of 80 crore, I deduct 1 crore 50 lakh. So what is my long-term capital gain? 78 crore 50 lakh. Now he purchased one bungalow in 78 crore 50 lakh in Bandra, which was including stamp duty and everything. Then he had not paid a tax, a single rupee. 7850 was allowed under section 54, and matter was closed. So that attraction was there. He not paid a single rupee. Later on, what happened? His younger brother sold his share of 1/3 in 2024. Now he's working, I made just now. We have to file the return by 31st of July. There what happened? He sold for 100 crore. His cost is also roughly 1.5. So his gain is 98 crore 50 lakh. He also purchased 98 crore 50 lakh with some house. but his deduction will be restricted only to the 10 crore. So gain of 88 crore 20 lakh. He is liable to pay tax at the rate of 20%, then surcharge and education cess, which work out to roughly 23.92. So let us say 24%. Now 88 crore mein, he has to pay 24%. So what will be tax now? Roughly his tax will work out to 22 crore rupee, roughly. Maybe 10 lakh here and there. Now, so first brother has not paid anything, but second brother will pay 22 crore rupee by way of a tax. Now, third brother will say now. So that why second brother is paying tax? Because of amendment, what has happened 2 years back. Now, now amendment 12.5%. So in this year, also third brother will say, price has gone up. Now my third brother, same land, 1/3, same everything cost, everything same. So third brother is getting now, because price has gone up, so he is getting 150 crore rupee. First brother got 80 crore, second brother got 100 crore, third brother will get 150 crore, and father has paid 1100 rupee for all the three of them. Now 150 crore cost also roughly, now no indexation will be allowed because of the amendment. So what will happen? He will not get any indexation. His cost will be taken as 50 lakh rupee. What is the market value of 1st April 2024? Sorry, 1st April 2001. That 50 lakh he will get deduction. So 150 में 50 lakh कब हो जाएगा? दूसरों का 150 claim हुआ था. Now, so what is gain? 149.5. Now, here also he can buy the property, whatever he want, but deduction will be restricted to 10 crore. So what will be his gain? 139.5 crore. So roughly say 140 crore. Now he will pay tax on 140 crore at the rate of 12.5%. So 12.5% of 140 crore will work out to roughly 18 crore rupee. Now second brother sold for 100 crore. He is paying tax of 22 crore. Third brother is selling for 150 crore. But he will pay tax only of 18 crore because of this amendment. So this will depend upon person to person. Somewhere it may be beneficial, somewhere it may be against the SSC. But generally we cannot say, oh, building industry khatam ho jayega, ye ho jayega, kuch bhi nahi hoega. It will be, if somebody get 150 crore and he has to pay tax of 20 crore, for example, what is harm in that? He made out of 300 rupee by investing 333 rupee or 366 rupee, he is getting 150 crore rupee. And again, out of that, he's paying 20 crore to the government, because we want government to make road proper, मेडिकल फैसिलिटी, एजुकेशन. लाएगा किधर से? पैसा तो आएगा तो खर्चा करेगा गवर्नमेंट, किधर से करेगा? सो आई पर्सनली फील कि दिस इज बेनिफिशियल टू एसएससी, स्मॉल एसएससी. आज ऑर्डिनरी पर्सन विल नॉट बाय फ्लैट मोर देन 10 करोड़. सो उसको तो 10 करोड़ तो फ्री रखा ही है गेन का. बेसिक कॉस्ट भी आपका फ्री है रेजिडेंस में, अदर देन रेजिडेंस में 10 करोड़ फ्री है. सो इट विल नॉट मेक एनी मच डिफरेंस एज फार आई पर्सनली फील. नाउ फ्रेंड्स, वी कम टू द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट. Exemption limit under long-term capital gain, which was 1 lakh rupee in share and security, has gone up to 1,25,000, which I already told you. Deduction on non-government employee and their employee for employer contribution to a pension fund in section 80CCD. Earlier, employer was supposed to contribute 10% on this whatever public provident fund or whatever the employee in government employee and their employer contribution to the pension scheme. 10% was the government used to contribute 14%, but private sector it was 10%. Employee's contribution. Same vision for employee, but employee can contribute more also if we want to claim some deduction, which in old new scheme it is not there. Old limit was there. But in case employee followed new regime, then 14% will be there. Instead of 10, so he will be benefited more, and the time of retire will get the money. Next item I take, income from other sources, 5627B. When a company receives a consideration for issue of shares at a price exceeding the fair market value, share issue, a very important amendment for the corporate sector. Earlier, we all know rate of tax, 30% surcharge, these that all we are paying for year after year. Major part have taken where Calcutta had developed some scheme, penny stock, bogus purchases, share premium. They all started from Calcutta. And then like a cancer is followed all over India. So you are allowed to convert First to convert black money out of when you do some business, don't show as income, convert into black. So that was costing about 2-3%. Calcutta from various type of schemes. And what to do with the black money? So again, convert into white money by paying another 3-4-5%. So why person, if a person by paying 5%, he can build up his capital, why he will pay tax of 30-40%? And this become cancer, nobody was paying the tax. And they will do so systematically. A company which is formed today have a share capital of 1 lakh rupee. They issue shares in a market and get a premium of, say, 10 rupees share have premium of 5,000 rupee. 10 rupees share have premium of 50,000 rupee. 10 rupees share have premium of 1 lakh rupee. If you see the balance sheet, nothing, no asset, no liability, nothing is there. But law was like that. If somebody is paying more premium and person who is receiving is accepting it, it is between the two person how income does come in the picture. Because after paying the tax, whatever my capital is there, out of that capital, I buy the share at a premium. It is my money. How government can interfere? How income tax department come in the picture? So it was going on very well. Person ITO was making a decision, appeals were filed. We have succeeded also. I remember I attended one case where 10 rupees share is sold for 50,000 rupee. Face value of share is 1 lakh rupee. Premium is 50 crore rupee. And what was going on? And many reported order where 10 rupees shares were sold for 1 lakh rupee. So 2013-14 amendment came. They say you have to work out the market value of the company who is issuing the shares. And what is the market value? So you have to contact the merchant banker or a chartered accountant who is on the panel. And after that, recording that figure, if any company receive more than that amount will be taxable in the hand of the company as income from other sources. And that was section 5727B. And that amount was taxable at that point of time. So in that case, what happened? That was going on. This bogus premium stopped at that point time. If somebody had done, they were liable to pay the taxes. But again, in this budget, government say, then after that, few years after that, startup started. Startup, if they issue shares at a premium and they cannot explain nature amount, because startup, what happened? For example, I form one company called startup, and some foreigner invest the money. I say, I've already done a lot of labor here. So why I tell you the face value? You compensate me for that. And that person pay me the money. Premium. So foreign exchange is coming. The government want to increase the foreign exchange. So they say, startup, sell any shares at a premium. They not say particularly foreigner. Any person buy the share of startup in a premium will be not taxable. Then there is some relief was given to manufacturers. Now they say, other person say, what harm we have done. So now government say, any premium, any share, more than the market value or more than the quoted value or more than whatever it is, no question will be asked. And so before what was there before 2013, same position have come now. So this also for many persons, they are very happy who want to take the premium. So this was section 56(2)(7)(b), which was restricting that income will be added, but now that will be not added. Reduction of TDS rate. Now, you know, many times TDS is very tough topic, because in last 8 years, I've seen more than 6,000 cases filed by income tax department for the prosecution. They say, put a person behind the bar. You have not deducted TDS, you are liable to deduct. Offense. You deducted but not paid to the government in a time. Offense. You have not deducted properly, you are liable to deduct 10% but deducted only 5%. Again, prosecution, penalty, interest, many things were there. And the rate of TDS was fixed 10, 15, 20 years back. After that, value of money has gone down like anything. Every person have to claim the refund. Because I told you 2 lakh per 5 lakh 50,000 return, 2 lakh person pay the tax. So remaining 350 may substantial part follow only. Their income is not taxable. They have to claim something from the government back, and they file the return. Government won't maintain that the account maintain on a single entry system. Whatever tax have come, they feel oh हमारा income हो गया 20 लाख करोड़ 15 लाख करोड़ 10 लाख करोड़ figure बोलते रहते हैं. लेकिन whatever money they give back to the person, affected person or person who want to claim refund, they don't give. Or even they give, they don't count it is my, they count expenditure separately. They will not say by 12 lakh crore rupee income tax आया उसे 2 lakh crore अपना refund दिया तो net is only 10 lakh crore. They don't count. वो income 12 lakh crore ही गिनेगा और 2 lakh crore expenditure में डाल देगा. So that way just many time, you know, so those person who want to claim the refund, so now government what has done, they've reduced the rate of tax, TDS. I will just tell you fact. In detail, may you will find from my note which I will send to madam. Like for example, payment to insurance company, it was 5% TDS earlier, reduced to 2%. Payment in respect of life insurance policy, earlier it was 5%, now reduced to 2%. Payment to contractor, it was 5%. No, sorry, payment for commission and brokerage, it was 5%, now it is 2%. Payment on rent by certain person, any person pay individual and HUF rent more than 50,000 rupees, then they were supposed to deduct 5% TDS. Now that also reduced to 2%. Payment to a certain sum of certain individual or Hindu undivided family under section 194M, that was also 5%, reduced to 2%. Payment to certain sum by e-commerce operator to e-commerce participant, that was 1% earlier, now say 10 paisa out of 100 rupee. Section 194F relating to payment on account of the purchase of unit or mutual fund or unit trust of India, that is removed completely. No TDS earlier which were there. And all the amendment will be effective from 1st October 24. So up to 30th September 24, old system will continue, TDS ka rate. 1 October 24 onwards, new system will come. So there are many other TDS provisions also. They made it simple, which we will deal one by one. Ease of claiming credit for TCS collected, TDS deducted by salaried employee. I already told you in the beginning, a salaried employee pay some TCS or TDS, and that is not income. He paid on an expenditure part. Buying, I told you, buying the car, buying the jewelry, buying something else, and he intimate to the employer, then employer will deduct that much less TDS. So the same again clarified. Increase in limit of remuneration to working partner of a firm. Now, actually what happened? In partnership firm, still new regime, old regime got no difference. All other places there is a difference, but partnership firm no difference. And partnership, what happened? Earlier we used to pay salary to partner, rent to partner, interest to partner, commission to partner, and after that whatever left over share of profit used to be distributed. So whatever money was given by the firm to the partner, that was treated as an application of a fund. An application of a partnership firm, no TDS was applicable. Now what has happened? TDS will be applicable there, like pay to others. For example, it is a partnership firm. I am one of the partner. Salary paid to some outsider, we deduct TDS. Commission paid to outsider, we deduct TDS. Of course, the CEOs were not allowed to give commission. I'm dealing in a cloth. Let us assume that. Interest paid to outsider, deductible. TDS has to be deducted. Now, what is the amendment? Is same amount you give to partners by way of a salary, interest, commission, or whatever name you call. Then TDS has to be deducted. Only share of profit, no TDS will be there. Everywhere you have to deduct TDS and pay to the government. So partners which were exempted, now it is not exempted. Number one. Second, salary to partner you can pay section as per section 40 of the Income Tax Act. You can't pay more than that. If firm is making losses, then maximum you can pay 3 lakh rupee. Firm is making profit, then you can pay 3 lakh, but 150 will be allowed 100%, rest will be allowed 90%. And if your profit is more than 3 lakh, then you are allowed to pay 60% for the extra profit. Now, what is amendment? Inflation has gone up. This rate was also fixed 20 years back. So now what is amendment? You can pay in firm, even make the losses, we can give to the extent of 6 lakh rupees. 6 lakh mein 3 lakh will be 100% allowed. Remaining 3 lakh will be allowed at the rate of 90%. If I have profit more than 6 lakh, then I can pay whatever left over to the extent of 60%. So increase in the partner remuneration and TDS also will apply. So that is the partnership. And again, whatever you are giving 3 lakh or 6 lakh or whatever I told you, it must be allowed in a deed of a partnership act. If partnership act say partners will be paid salary of 20,000 per month, then this section will be out. If partnership act says you will be paid salary as provided in Income Tax Act, or you will be paid salary this much 20,000, and any further sum can be paid as per provided in Income Tax Act. Then, of course, you can pay, or you amend the partnership deed on 500 rupees stamp paper, put new clause, whatever we want, and then it can be paid. Next point I deal, the tax distribution income of domestic company for buyback of shares set off owned by losses. Very interesting topic. Let me give you background first. Earlier, dividend was exempted. Whatever dividend you get, company used to pay dividend distribution tax, so shares were older were exempted. Now, Chidambaram went somewhere in 2020, dividend become taxable. So, for example, every day I don't pay anything and suddenly I have to pay, you know, my mind will not work properly that time. So, all shareholders who get the dividend, they got upset. कि अभी अपना 30% टैक्स में जाएगा, इन्फ्लेशन हो रहा है, पैसा बचा नहीं है, रिटायर्ड पर्सन was being high in कराए. So, company found another way कि we buy back your share. Buyback of share में there is company act का number of restrictions are there. The company cannot buy more than 25% of the capital at a time. And when they after 12 months, they can buy further 25%. But between the two, there should be gap of 1 year. And like company law, there are number of restrictions. Now, end of the day, everything worked out in rupiah na paisa. What money I have to pay or don't have to pay? That are main finally, that what we discuss when we discuss about income tax or GST or whatever, we say financially what is the beneficial. Now, there what happened, many experts found out a way, buy back the share. And in buy back share, what happened? If we appoint a chartered accountant who value the shares value, that much money was paid, or whatever money they decide, less than that or more than that or whatever, as per the Companies Act, money will be paid to the shareholder. Shareholder will reduce that capital to that extent. Shares is purchased by the company and company's capital reduced. So indirectly, whatever remaining share is there with you, you are pro rata basis where you are the owner. Whatever money is paid for the buyback, to that extent, fund also the company will reduce. And whatever dividend, whatever amount was payable to the income tax department because of the buyback scheme, that was paid by the company to the income tax department as a capital gain. So shareholder was happy, the company is paying, and company was paying the tax like a dividend. Dividend distribution tax also paid by the company. And shareholder was not paying anything. Shareholder was very happy. Now what is the amendment? In case of a buyback of share, company will not pay. Like dividend distribution, dividend distribution was not paid by the company a few years back when shareholders started paying. Because Mukesh Ambani was not paying a single rupee by way of a tax, dividend tax. But when it started, BJP started this item somewhere in 18 or 20, dividend will be taxable. Mukesh Ambani pay now tax of 6,000 crore per year. Because that much kind of dividend income he have. So the share distribution, buyback of share also, now company will not pay, but shareholder will pay. And company was paying as a long-term capital gain. Shareholder will pay as income from other sources. So 30% slab mein ghus jayega. So this is also very important. And because of that also, all shareholders are getting disturbed. Because shareholder feel कि हमारा 3 item आ गया. पहला तो long-term capital gain 10.5 से 12.5 हो गया. Short-term 15 से 20 हो गया. Dividend तो taxable कर ही दिया है. Buyback of share में भी हमारे पे टैक्स डाल दिया. तो सब एक साथ में आ गई 4-5 पॉइंट, तो थोड़ा शेयर होल्डर ऊपर नीचे हो गया है. फिर भी मार्केट तो ऊपर ही जा रहा है. नाउ सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट अमेंडमेंट आया विच आई लाइक एक्चुअली, विवाद से विश्वास स्कीम हैव कम बैक. लाइक जस्ट नाउ बिमल भाई आल्सो सेड कि जीएसटी में आल्सो विवाद से विश्वास स्कीम हैव कम. बट इनकम टैक्स में, because GST, VAT, sale tax, I've seen nearly more than 10 schemes in last few years. Right from 2010 से लगा के 14 साल में पता नहीं 10-12 स्कीम तो आ गई. हमारा इनकम टैक्स का हिस्ट्री में right from 1961 to 2024, 65 year में खाली ये तीसरी स्कीम है. Because there are 2 schemes. One comes voluntary disclosure scheme, convert your black money into white. That is a separate thing. Vivad se Vishwas means whatever litigation is pending in your case, try to sort it out. Voluntary disclosure scheme, right from 1947 to 2024, I have seen at least 14-15 schemes. Of course, earlier 3-4 schemes, 1947, 1962, 1964, 1967. Those schemes, 4 schemes I have not seen because I was a student at that point of time. 75 onwards, voluntary disclosure scheme number 5 के बाद में जो भी आया अभी तक 16. Each and every scheme I've seen and studied thoroughly and made good money also. Because whenever some scheme come, my work in my office goes up, I employ 10% extra. They do only this already scheme ka work and goes on very well. Because remind me, I wanted to buy one flat actually in Malabar here, there, Jogesuri, in 1975, and clear my CA. But in 75 itself, I started a practice of voluntary disclosure scheme came. And that time it was so successful, instead of Jogesuri, I shifted to Malabar Hill. And Malabar Hill is one of the very posh area of Bombay. So what I want to say, the Vivad se Vishwas scheme is also a very good scheme. And what is the scheme? First scheme of Vivad se Vishwas came somewhere in 1998. They say if your appeals are pending, you are not interested in fighting with the court, with the department. After spending so much money, you may lose. Then better to settle under Vivad se Vivad scheme. So I will give you a little more detail about this. Now, actually, let me give you a background. This scheme whole depend upon temperament of a person. If somebody want peace of mind, don't want any litigation, he feel if any time if I die, I don't want to leave lafda for my children, then for them it is best scheme. Second, litigation cost has also gone up. Earlier, by paying 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, you are allowed to, you could have good advocate to argue the matter. I remember I considered Palkiwala somewhere in 1980 or 82, Dani Palkiwala. He used to charge 2,250 rupees for consultation. Today, ordinary advocate charge 50,000, 75,000, 1 lakh. So cost has also gone up, and litigation cost is also very costly. Today, you want to fight a small matter in the High Court, it will cost you nearly 2 lakh of rupees. So actually, cost has gone up, and somebody feels I don't want to leave lafda for the children. So if your appeal is pending at any stage, it can be commissioner, it can be tribunal, it can be High Court, it can be Supreme Court, it can be under section 263 before the commissioner, it can be 264 before the commissioner. Then you can file your declaration under Vivad se Vishwas scheme, and whatever tax is payable, you pay that tax and close the matter. No interest, no penalty, nothing is payable. If you don't pay tax before 31st of December 24 and pay afterwards, then you have to pay 10% extra tax. That is a one system. Second system, if you have already succeeded before CIT appeal, and appeal is pending before the tribunal, the department have filed appeal in tribunal. You succeeded before tribunal, but department appeal is pending in the High Court or a Supreme Court. Then whatever tax is payable, you have to pay 50% of that. 50% still you can escape, don't have to pay that. So very good scheme. Analysis have come. Now more forms, etc. also maybe come within 2-4 days. But if anyone want to buy peace, you may feel that tomorrow, after appointing advocate also, for example, you fight with the department, and end of the day you lose. आपको tax, interest, penalty, government may lodge prosecution also, कितना costing हो जाएगा, वकील का पैसा दिया वो अलग. And tomorrow prosecution case is lodged, तो वहां पे जज तो एक ही बात समझता है, offense किया है कि नहीं किया है. He is not able to reasonable cause, or they are not interested in that. The moment, say for example, TDS का default है, I was supposed to deduct, I not deducted. Department file prosecution, बोलेगा आपका offense है, TDS आपको काटने का था और नहीं काटा, या आपने काटा और भरा नहीं. अगर if I argue with him, yes sir, I had no money, बोले no argument, tell me yes or no may reply. If I tell yes, बोलेगा 3 महीना minimum या 6 महीना, and if I say no, then I have to prove it. Reasonable cause concept is not there. Offense hai, nahi hai. Out of 2, 1 has to select. So in this way also, Vivad se Vishwas scheme is very good scheme. 4-5 form will come, because recently scheme have come in 2020. So this scheme also will be something like that only. We have to file the form. Form number 1, give detail which appeal is pending, what is pending before whom, and some proof has to be enclosed. Then you have to sign signature. Form number B, whatever I say in the appeal, the paper details are correct. Of course, department will verify. If department is satisfied with your form number 1 and 2, they will issue form number 3. If this amount is payable. If amount is payable, fine. If it is not payable, then you can write to him for rectification. But let us assume the amount payable is correct. Then we pay the money and we file form number 4 and we enclose the challan with that. And they issue finally form number 5. So whenever appeal comes, we can show form number 5, or equal voluntary withdraw appeal also. So if department appeal is there, then the half amount. SCC appeal there, then full amount. No interest, no penalty. But if you don't pay in time, then of course interest will be applicable. As per the scheme, we are supposed to pay by 31st December 24, then tax has to be paid by that day. Now, amendment in section 42, 43 of the Black Money Act 2015 relating to penalty of failure to disclose foreign income and assets in the ITR. Now, for example, I was non-resident earlier. I had a foreign account. I kept money there. And now I come to India. Once I want to become resident of India and want to take Indian citizenship, I was there earlier also, and surrender the foreign citizenship I have. Then what happened? I was allowed to keep money in a foreign account for some time. If that time is over and I have not withdrawn that money and deposited in my regular bank account, then it was treated as offense under the FERA. Now, when Black Money Act and various binamidar and things have come, money laundering and various things, that time they say up to 5 lakh rupees I have in a foreign account without the knowledge of government, but he earned outside India earlier, then I will be not, they will not put penalty on me. Now the 5 lakh amount have increased to 20 lakh rupees. But it is not that guy send money from India unofficially and keep 20 lakh there. That is not permitted. But under the LRS ke andar something is allowed, $250,000, and I remitted the money. Then I purchased the property, sold the property, and end of the day, I give full calculation. But still my 20 lakh is lying there out of my earlier earning. Then of course there will be no penalty. Amendment proposes in section 276B of the Act for rationalization of the provision. Actually, what happened? I told you 6,000 prosecution laws by TDS department. When the department law the prosecution, it also cost them a lot of money. Of course, this is a big harassment for the SSC. But department also, they are not having a peaceful life. They have to also appoint an advocate. They have to pay the money. A lot of things come in the picture. So now, and what is the idea of the government? Not to prosecute the citizen of this country. If they put all the taxpayer into the jail, then who will pay the tax? And how government will run? Their idea is to collect the tax, interest, if somebody committed offense, and penalty. So for that purpose, they've liberalized certain TDS provision. In case person has not deducted TDS and other party has paid the tax. For example, let us say I work for Diptiji. She has to pay me 1 lakh rupee and she paid me. She has deducted 10,000 rupee and 90 paid to me. 10 she will pay to the income tax department. I will get set over that in my taxes payable and matter end. Let us she not paid, she paid me full 1 lakh rupee and she not deducted 10 lakh. And she is liable to deduct. If she is proprietor or some other conditions are there, not liable, to alag baat ho gaya. She is liable. Her accounts are subject to audit. And she deducted that money. Now, she is not deducted by mistake. She was liable to deduct. But if I have shown that one income, 1 lakh, and paid tax on that, so government is not losing anything. If she deduct 10,000, I will get set off. But I paid my whatever tax is coming on that 1 lakh rupee fees has come. For example, I am liable to pay about 35%. I might have paid 35,000 on 1 lakh. She would have deducted 1 lakh, 10,000. Still I was liable to pay 25 further. So I paid. The government is not losing anything. So government says in such cases, we are going to take a liberal view. Provided she prove before her TDS officer, that Vimal Punmi has filed the return, this is the proof, or CA certificate, and he paid the tax. So then matter will end. Similar way, she deducted, but not paid to the government because of certain mistake. Earlier, even in delay of 1,000 day, also she was prosecuted. Now they said, before you file your return, now for the June quarter is ending, when you file the return in July, September quarter we file in October, December quarter we file in January, March quarter we file in May, not in April, but in May. Before that ending, if you paid the taxes to the government, along with interest, whatever 1.5% per month, whatever figure comes, then SSC will be not taken in default and no prosecution will be lost. So this also I think very good stage. A very small mistake, big person, they have connections with ministers and high level officer. उनको तो कुछ होता नहीं है और गरीब आदमी जिसने मिस्टेक से कोई एक काम कर लिया है, he has to suffer a lot. So I personally feel this is a good provision. Reducing time limitation for order deeming any person to be assessee in default. Same what I told you, same reproduce here also. The notification of certain person or class of a person exempted from TCS. Now government have all the power. They can add anyone, cannot TCS will be applicable to the following item. And they can also say that TCS will not apply to following item. So that earlier which provision was not there in TCS, TDS it was there, but TCS it was not there. So they brought to make it simplified. Penalty for failure to furnish a statement. Now actually what happened, builder sell the flat, amount involving more than 30 lakh, he is supposed to file quarterly statement. Bank, FDR, any person invest FDR more than 2 crore, they have to give detail. Mutual fund, investment more than 2 crore, they have to give detail. Electric board, electric bill more than 1 lakh, they have to give detail. Registration department, any document come for registration, sale of property, purchase of property, lease, license, tenancy, any type of document, they have to intimate to the income tax department. And not intimating, attract penalty. A hotel particular bill is after particular amount, they have to intimate to income tax department in quarterly return. So now what happened? Earlier, if you are not levy, then there was a penalty, which was earlier 100 rupees per day, then increased to 500 rupees per day. So now they say they want to make it little simplify. If the businessman is giving detail to the department, if doing helping them, it is not work of businessman to give detail to the department, it is department's work. So they say it will be not that serious. In a case of a reasonable cause, we will consider not levy the penalty. Income Tax Act has been amended to introduce a new scheme of block assessment of such cases. This scheme aimed to streamline the assessment proceeding, a class involving searches of requisition conducted by Income Tax Department. Now, this is, friends, very, very important, and each and every taxpayer must know about this. So, I will take at least 5 to 10 minutes on this particular amendment. Now, what is the amendment? Let us see what is the amendment. Income Tax Department have big power to raid anyone, correct? Which is called search. If they feel, and what is their target when they conduct the raid? By raiding the particular person, they are going to unearth cash amount from residence of the party, unaccounted jewelry, unaccounted cash, unaccounted investment, and unaccounted expenditure. If 4 items, the chances are there that by going there, we may get unaccounted cash, unaccounted jewelry, unaccounted investment, physical form, and unaccounted expenditure. Then only raid is authorized. And of course, to reduce the number of raid, because whenever raid come and harassment start, in past it happened a lot. Lady was pregnant at home. Income Tax Department not allowed her to be admitted in hospital. She given a delivery at home, and later on she passed away, and there were many complications. Person got heart attack, he was not allowed to be admitted in hospital. Children's school was there, department not allowed children to go outside home. No relative, some guests have come from outside Bombay, they were not allowed to enter in the home. And because of various harassment, later on, various Mangal Sutra from the neck and this bangle from the hand were removed and seized by the department. So when Manmohan Singh was the finance minister, he issued one question answer, right of SSA and right of department. And things were simplified. And he also said that time, a married woman can have gold ornament to the extent of 500 gram. Unmarried can have 250 gram. A man can have 100 gram. A boy can have 100 gram. And no question can be asked. So after that, things have become simplified. 500 gram is 50 tola. 50 tola is sufficient. Bengal, Mangal Sutra, and here and there, some item here and there. So actually, that way, I will just tell you, I will not go in much history, but I will tell. So that way, after Manmohan Singh, some limits were fixed. In those days, what was the rule? For example, somebody complained that Mr. X have 50 lakh rupee at his home in a case. Department wala apna briefcase uthayega, taxi pakad ke aa jayega. Then that was all removed. Because Manmohan Singh was one of the best finance minister at that time. And that time what happened? Everything was simplified, and they also said the department before conduct the raid, they must do their homework properly. And in homework, what happened? They were allotted 1 month. ऐसा नहीं होगा 2 बजे information आएगा 3 बजे rate डाल देगा. That will not happen. They are given to verify that information what they have for 1 month. And in 1 month verification, the officer in charge will submit his report. And after submitting his report, if you are in Bombay, then 100 crore, different places, different figure there. If that if figure, so department feel by raiding a particular person, we are going to get this much money, then only raid will be authorized. So things have become very simple. Those days, department used to conduct 5,000 raid in Bombay. Now today they conduct only a 50 to 100 rupee in the whole year. And wherever they conduct now raid, they are very successful. They get 400 crore, 500 crore, 1,000 crore. But small आदमी में उनको interest भी नहीं है. And they say, if you don't feel you are going to get cash or jewelry or unaccounted expenditure, unaccounted investment, then convert into survey. So they can verify your cash book, they can verify your books of account, they can verify your stock record, but they cannot seize anything, they cannot take away anything, valuables. So these are the separate thing. Income tax department become completely faceless now, 98%. Assessments are all faceless, appeals are faceless. So corruption has reduced otherwise also. Only 2% cases are still face-to-face. Central circle, where raid and survey cases come, and international taxation where foreign companies are involved, most of the foreign companies are involved. So those are still face-to-face. Rest everything is faceless. So because of faceless, corruption खत्म हो गया पूरा. Transferability, accounting ये सब आ गया. Because मोदी जी देखो ना 2014 में आए काय के लिए थे. कांग्रेस में बहुत करप्शन फैल गया था. हर कमिश्नर पैसा दे के अपनी पोस्टिंग लेता था. ईमानदार आदमी को तो पता नहीं खड्डे में घुसा देते थे किधर भी. बेईमान आदमी बॉम्बे, पुणे, भिवंडी, इचलकरंजी, सूरत वहां पे आ जाते थे बड़े बड़े. And they used to make money. जो आदमी 10 करोड़ रुपया दे के कमिश्नर बन के आएगा बॉम्बे में, तो he will come to make 50 crore. He will not do coming for to do charity. So that way things were going on out of control. Because I am a Congressy person. My father was Kattar Congressy, but I voted for Modi from 1947 onwards, 1914 onwards. 2014 onwards. So things have become completely changed. Now what has happened here in red case? We restrict to our topic. After raid assessment completed by ITO, whatever assessment is already completed, they are known as unabated assessment. They cannot touch that. And wherever things are pending, they can verify that. They can start digging all the paper which is found from your place in form of jewelry, cash, unaccounted investment, unaccounted expenditure. ये चार चीज से उसकी income assessment होगा. बाकी तो कुछ को चाहिए नहीं है. बाकी तो books of account हमने लिख के दिया ये पूरा जो whatever is there. So let us go in the background. Up to 1995. After raid, they used to reopen 16 assessment year. For example, and that time joint family contract was there. For example, there are 4 brothers. One brother will look after, say, banking. Let's say 4th brother who is educated, he will look after all banking and everything. 3rd brother will look after the production, sale, for example. 2nd brother will look after the manufacturing and processing and purchase and overall control. And 1st brother, who is a very senior person, he will, if father is there, then 1st brother will also work. If father, after death of a father, 1st brother will become social person, keep contact, going to the funeral party. Somebody passed away, उसके उठाने में जाने का है. Somebody is getting married, उसकी शादी में जाने का है, किधर engagement में जाने का है. बच्चों का education, बच्चों का age के लिए marriage and this and that and all, he will take care of all the items. So person who is looking after the income tax will remain busy half of his life to attend the income tax proceeding only. Because they will never finish. For example, family have, say, for example, 10%. And ITO will reopen for all the 10%. Each person will have 16 order. So what will the order now? It will be 160 order ho gaya. Each order have 4 type of penalty. Late filing, advance tax, self-assessment, and the concealment. So 160 order को 4 से multiply करो 640 penalty notice. So total हो गया 800 assessment और 800 appeal होगी बाद में. 800 matter will go to tribunal. How much cost it will come? And there was a complete mess हो जाता था. Manmohan Singh also realized that in 1995 or 1994. And he said, let us bring one concept of the block assessment. अभी किसी आदमी ने गलती कर दिया है, रेट आ गया है, अनअकाउंटेड पैसा मिल गया है, ज्वेलरी मिल गई है, इन्वेस्टमेंट मिल गया है, खर्चा मिल गया है, उसको फांसी पे तो नहीं चढ़ाने का है. अब तो टैक्स तो भरता है नहीं कुछ ना कुछ. उसको कुछ भी रास्ता निकाल के टैक्स लगाओ, पेनल्टी लगाओ, जो करने का कर के उसको काम पे लगा दो वापस कि स्टार्ट अर्निंग एंड स्टार्ट पेइंग द टैक्स. और एक बार इतना बड़ा धक्का लग गया है रेट का तो फ्यूचर में वो सुधर जाएगा, सब काम बराबर करेगा टाइम पे. एंड दैट वाज द रीजन आई सीन अप टू 2004 और बिफोर मोदी जी केम अप टू 2014. जो भी आदमी पे रेड आया, जो भी आदमी पे सर्वे हुआ, believe me, after that it prospers like anything. They are very particular about the paperwork. They will do paperwork all in time. घर पे पैसा बाद में लेके जाएगा, पहले टीडीएस काट के भरेगा, पहला इनकम टैक्स भरेगा, नो डिफॉल्ट। पहले 10 साल तक रिटर्न नहीं भरता था, अभी रिटर्न भरेगा, पहला घर जाने के पहले करके जाएगा पूरा आसाम। बोला घर का खर्चा चलेगा, आगे पीछे उधार में ले लेगा, लेकिन टैक्स तो पहला भरने का है। दैट सिस्टमेटिक वर्क वाज गोइंग ऑन। नाउ हुआ क्या, 95 में दे ब्रॉट स्कीम ऑफ द ब्लॉक असेसमेंट। सो 10 ईयर का असेसमेंट विल बी टुगेदर, देयर विल बी नॉट 10 ऑर्डर, देयर विल बी वन ऑर्डर ओनली व्हिच आर नोन एज ए ब्लॉक असेसमेंट ऑर्डर। और ब्लॉक असेसमेंट ऑर्डर में क्या करेगा, सम ईयर सम प्रॉफिट है, सम ईयर में लॉसेस है, वो सब सेट ऑफ हो जाएगा 10 साल का। और एंड ऑफ द डे व्हाट यू मेड इन लास्ट 10 ईयर यू पे टैक्स ऑन दैट 30% इन बिगिनिंग में। नाउ उसको कैसे, फॉर एग्जाम्पल किसी ने रिकॉर्ड ही नहीं रखा है, नाउ यू वर्क आउट, फॉर एग्जाम्पल रेट टेकन प्लेस इन 2005, they will work out what is the asset of that person in 2005 on cost basis। एक फ्लैट खरीदा था 10 लाख में, मार्केट वैल्यू 50 लाख हो गया, but still you took account for 10 lakh only। So what is your asset as per cost basis at the date of raid? What was your asset 10 year back on the cost basis? जो डिफरेंस है दैट आपने कमाया इस साल के अंदर या 10 साल के अंदर, उसमें घर का खर्चा ऐड कर दो, बच्चों का एजुकेशन का कोई कैश में पैसा खर्चा किया होगा वो ऐड कर दो, घर में कोई शादी किया तो वो ऐड कर दो, फिक्स एसेट तो फ्लैट वगैरह तो आ ही जाएंगे, एसेट की काउंटिंग करेंगे तो, and pay tax at the rate of 30%. So everyone was so happy. Means I have seen the person who was raided, he was in a much better position than person who was not raided. तो हर आदमी, व्यापारी आदमी वेट करता था जिसके बाद 2 नंबर का पैसा है कि इनकम टैक्स आ जावे, साला एक बार रेड कर देवे, मेरे को गंगा स्नान करा लेवे, मेरा काम बट सॉल्व हो जाएगा। एंड दैट वाज गोइंग ऑन। फिर उसको 10 साल को रिड्यूस करके 6 साल किया, बहुत अच्छी बात हो गई और खुश हो गए लोग, अभी तो साला ज्यादा झगड़ा भी नहीं है पर पक्का। एंड वो चलता रहा 2005 में। अब इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट देखने लगा 2005 में, साला व्यापारी तो खुश हो गया, इधर रेट डालने के बाद भी खुश होते हैं, तो उन्होंने सिस्टम को चेंज किया वापस, और वो जूना 95 के पहले था सेम सिस्टम वापस लेके आए। पर लकीली लाए 6 साल के लिए, पहला 16 साल तक था, और 6 साल का असेसमेंट 6 अलग अलग साल में होगा। कोई साल में लॉस है तो लॉस कैरी फॉरवर्ड होगा, किसमें प्रॉफिट है तो प्रॉफिट ऐसा होगा, सेट ऑफ नहीं होगा, और आपको लिटिगेशन वापस चालू हो गया। एंड वो चलते गया 2014 तक। 14 के बाद में उन्होंने 6 साल को वापस 10 साल किया मोदी जी ने आके, बोला 6 साल तक तो नॉर्मल रीओपन होएगा, बट इस अर्लियर टू 6 ईयर 7, 8, 9, 10 में इफ अमाउंट इन्वॉल्व मोर देन 50 लाख देन 10 साल तक ओपन होगा। वो भी चलता रहा। फिर 2018 में वापस ये नया कंसेप्ट आ गया रीअसेसमेंट का, तो वो टू सेक्शन 153 एंड 153 ए बी सी जो था, उसके पहले 158 एबीसी था, वो सब कंसेप्ट खत्म करके उन्होंने 148 में लेके आए कि भाई इनकम टैक्स में कोई ऑफिसर रेड के केस में 10 साल का रीओपन कर सकता है, लेकिन सर्टन लिमिट डाल दिया कि पहला 3 साल आईटीओ को पावर नहीं है, कमिश्नर का अप्रूवल लेना पड़ेगा, उसके पहले का 7 साल चीफ कमिश्नर का अप्रूवल लेना पड़ेगा, और ऐसा करके सब सिस्टम डाल दिया। अभी इन्होंने क्या किया है, वही सिस्टम लेके आया जो 95 से 2003 के था। एक असेसमेंट होएगा, ब्लॉक असेसमेंट होगा, टैक्स आपको 60% भरना पड़ेगा। 60% में दैट इंक्लूड्स एवरीथिंग, दैट इंक्लूड पेनल्टी, दैट इंक्लूड इंटरेस्ट, दैट इंक्लूड एवरीथिंग। आपको 60% भरा, रेड के टाइम में आप 60% भरो, या रेड के बाद नोटिस आता है आप रिटर्न भरो, यू डिक्लेयर इनकम इन दैट एंड यू पे नो पेनल्टी। सिंपली अर्लियर जो 30% था उसको भी वो टाइम पे 30 का 60 किया था कुछ 2-4 साल के लिए, वो 60% वाला स्कीम वापस लेके आ गया। एक साल में आपने शेयर मार्केट में लॉस किया है, दूसरे साल में शेयर मार्केट में प्रॉफिट किया है, पहले वाले असेसमेंट में दोनों अलग अलग गाड़ी चलती थी, अभी वो कंबाइन हो जाएगी। और नेट इनकम आपने क्या कमाया है 6 साल में, उसका आपका 6 साल का असेसमेंट होगा और आपको टैक्स भरना पड़ेगा। और 6 साल के लिए भी 3 साल कमिश्नर, 3 साल चीफ कमिश्नर का ऑर्डर लेना पड़ेगा। कोई पेपर ही नहीं मिला है तो चीफ कमिश्नर उसको ऑर्डर भी नहीं देगा, अप्रूवल भी नहीं देगा। और 3 साल पहले वाला कभी होगा अगर अमाउंट इन्वॉल्व मोर देन 50 लाख रुपए, अदरवाइज 3 साल का ही असेसमेंट होगा। तो ये बहुत सिंप्लीफाई हो गया है रेड के केस के लिए भी। नॉर्मल असेसमेंट जो होता है अपना रीओपन, वो भी पहले आपको मालूम है अभी 148 का नया आने के बाद ITO can reopen for 3 years with the approval of the commissioner, and with the approval of chief commissioner he was allowed to go for another 7 year या 3 year or 6 year or whatever the various sections were there. Now उसको भी घटा के 5 साल कर दिया। ITO को रीओपन का तो पावर ही खत्म हो गया। अभी ITO को रात को सपना आ गया विमल पुनमे के पास मेरे को रीओपन करने का है, वो नहीं कर सकता है, या आईटीओ, कोई जमाने में तो आईटीओ से मेरा झगड़ा हो गया तो मेरा 6 साल का रीओपन कर डालता था, वो भी अभी खत्म हो गया है. नाउ ही नीड अप्रूव, ही हैज टू रिकॉर्ड द रीजन व्हाई ही वांट टू रीओपन. दैट रिकॉर्डिंग रीजन हैज टू गो टू एडिशनल कमिश्नर. एडिशनल कमिश्नर हैज टू अप्रूव इट. देन इट विल गो टू प्रिंसिपल कमिश्नर ऑफ इनकम टैक्स. ही अप्रूव, देन अर्लियर 3 साल का मेरा रीओपन हो सकता है. इफ इट गो बियॉन्ड 3 ईयर, पहले वाला 2 साल, तो मैटर हैज टू गो टू चीफ कमिश्नर. And chief commissioner give approval, it cannot be open. And whole idea is that कि act में when he go to chief commissioner or go to the commissioner, they must apply their mind. बहुत बार होता है, ITO is written letter to him on say 31st of March. Commissioner is given approval on 31st March. High Court said that is not the approval. आपका पेपर आ गया, same day आपने साइन कर दिया, it is a mechanical approval. That is not approval. You have to apply your mind. भले वो माइंड अप्लाई करे कि नहीं करे, पेपर में he has to show he has applied his mind, and he has to record, he has to whatever ITO recommend, he simply cannot say okay. He has to record the reason and find the order. If he feel appropriate, he to call the SSC and ask the SSC question, I want to do like this, whether you have any objection. So hearing means proper hearing to be given. Application of mind means real application of mind is there. It also should not only mechanically, it should also appear that he applied his mind. So he should record the proper statement, give the reason, what point, how ITO will reopen, what reason he will write, that also to be drafted by Commissioner's office, and then ITO can reopen the case. So block assessment system, very, very good actually, like Vishwas scheme, block assessment, capital gain, these are the major items which we must know. A continuation of delay in filing application for registration of trust. Now actually what happened, charitable trust mein, wherever commissioner reject, we used to file appeal before tribunal. But wherever, delay is not condoned. I'm supposed to file particular paper before particular day, and I have not done that, and I'm taking time. So the delay was not condoned, so we have to apply to the Central Board of Taxes. Then after COVID, certain powers were given to the director DG, जो ATG वगैरह का certificate issue करता है, उसको power दिया. And that person had power to consider this fact and allow for 3-4 years. From time to time, they say assess period 18-19, 19-20, अलग-अलग टाइम पे अलग-अलग सर्कुलर और अलग-अलग सिस्टम आ गया. एंड उसके ऊपर अमाउंट होता था या उसके ऊपर प्रोविजन होता था तो मैटर उसको टू चीफ कमिश्नर, एंड पर्टिकुलर डे में ही आते थे वो स्कीम. तो नाउ एक्चुअली डिपार्टमेंट ने क्या बोला है कि कमिश्नर विल हैव पावर, और एक सेक्शन में अमेंडमेंट करके कमिश्नर को परमानेंट पावर दे दिया है. सो कमिश्नर विल एबल टू कंसीडर ऑन मेरिट ईच केस and able to condone. So there is also simplification. And because जब से what happened earlier, कभी आपका सुप्रीम कोर्ट में केस है तो you have to go to Delhi, spend whole day, and एंड में केस एडजॉर्न होता था, चलता था, भगवान ही जानता था. नाउ अभी ये कंप्यूटर ऑनलाइन आने से by sitting in your office you can attend the case. लिंक लगा लो और सुप्रीम कोर्ट के साथ आप जज से डायरेक्ट केस कर सकते हैं. कोई भी हाई कोर्ट का होगा अब कर सकते हैं, कोई भी ट्रिब्यूनल का होगा तो कर सकते हैं. तो आपका ट्रेवलिंग का बहुत टाइम बच जाता है. पहले मैं अहमदाबाद जाता था, पूना जाता था, बेंगलोर जाता था, मेरा पूरा दिन खत्म होता था. नाउ बाय सिटिंग इन ऑफिस आई कैन अटेंड हाफ अ डजन केसेस. अलग अलग लैपटॉप लगा के रखो, स्टाफ को बैठा दो उधर, जैसे जैसे जो केस आएगा आपको वो आगे आगे करते जाएगा. सो दैट वे कमिश्नर इन बॉम्बे आल्सो हैड दिस इज अ गुड आइडिया. Commissioner has been given, and reasonable cases commissioner will consider in Bombay. A rationalization of timeline for fund or institutions to file application seeking approval under section 80G. मैंने बोला वही बात है. Next, summary of amendment to the prohibition of benami we will skip actually. We'll consider it on income tax only. Income Tax Act has been amended to streamline the process of reassessing income. This summary explains the key changes. मैंने आपको बता दिया वो 47, 148, 3 year, 6 year कमिश्नर, एडिशनल कमिश्नर, बस उसी को आगे अच्छी तरह किया. They have to issue notice. Along with the notice, they have to give reason or recorded. SSC file the objection. If SSC don't file objection, then they can reject that. SSC file the objection, then they have to consider the objection. And after considering, either they accept or reject, वो उनका मर्जी की बात है. If they reject, you can go to the High Court in the writ. If they accept, matter end हो जाएगा. If you don't want to go in the High Court, then ITO will issue notice under 148. In response to 148, you file your return. फिर वो assessment का notice आएगा. Give all the detail. And this point पे 148 आया है. Now ITO don't issue, not make assessment on that point. Don't make addition on that point. Then he cannot make addition on any other point also. If he make addition on that point, then he can touch any other point. But for example, he say your loan are bogus 50 lakh rupee. So I want to reopen. He reopened it. I file all the confirmation, balance sheet, this, that, all document. I say my loan is genuine. Received by check, paid by check, TDS deducted, confirmation received. वो पार्टी लोन बैलेंस शीट में बता रही है loan given to Mr. Punmiya. What interest I paid, I deducted TDS. That also party is claiming their return. Interest is shown in their profit loss account. And so department says this addition cannot be made. So if this addition cannot be made, no other addition can be made in that year. But for example, I'm not able to prove and they make addition of the loan, then they can make any other addition also. Change to refund, set off and withholding of provision. Now, for example, मेरा 1 साल के अंदर टैक्स भरने का है, 1 साल में रिफंड है. आज आईटीओ क्या करता है, फॉर्मेलिटी की नोटिस डालता है, रिफंड एडजस्ट कर देता है. तो अभी उन्होंने क्या बोला, वो रिफंड एडजस्ट नहीं करेगा. ही हैज टू गिव अ प्रॉपर अपॉर्चुनिटी, प्रॉपर एक्सप्लेनेशन, ही हैज टू बी रिकॉर्डेड एंड उसके बाद एसएससी बोलेगा अटैच करो, एडजस्ट करो तो कर सकेगा, अदरवाइज वो नहीं कर सकेगा. माई रिफंड इज ड्यू अंडर 143(1). पहले ये रूल था कि 143(1) का रिफंड आपको उसको देना ही पड़ता था. But if in case ITO is selecting the case for scrutiny, then by passing a separate order, by taking approval of the higher up, he can keep that money till regular assessment is completed. Change in time limit for applying to the income tax appellate tribunal. Now, इधर क्या हो गया? Whenever ITO passes any order, अभी तो सब faceless है, तो day he put on a portal, and whatever date is there, that date is taken as a date of service. बहुत सारे लोग अभी भी कंप्यूटर से familiar नहीं है. अच्छा, income tax point of view, कमिश्नर सेंड बंच ऑफ 15 ऑर्डर 30 ऑर्डर पूरा महीने का, ही सेंड टू चीफ कमिश्नर. फिर चीफ कमिश्नर देता है कमिश्नर को, कमिश्नर देता है आईटीओ को, ऐसा करके डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होते हैं सब. बिकॉज एक चीफ कमिश्नर के अंडर में 4 कमिश्नर होंगे, हर कमिश्नर के अंडर में 3 वार्ड होंगे, तो इट गोज लाइक दैट वे. तो डिपार्टमेंट ट्रीट डेट ऑफ सर्विस इज द डेट व्हेन चीफ कमिश्नर ऑफिस रिसीव दैट ऑर्डर. अभी इन्होंने लॉक कर दिया है कि द मोमेंट वी पुट इन अ पोर्टल, दैट इज द डेट ऑफ ऑर्डर. पोर्टल पे 25th ऑफ अप्रैल में आ गया ऑर्डर, इट मीन दैट इज द ऑर्डर. आपने कभी देखा पोर्टल खोल के, आपकी प्रॉब्लम है. सो अभी हैव टू ट्राई एंड मेक श्योर कि वन ऑफ द फैमिली मेंबर और अवर स्टाफ एवरी वीक सी अवर पोर्टल, वेदर को ऑर्डर आया है क्या, नया नोटिस आया है क्या, और कोई नया लफड़ा पैदा नहीं कर दिया डिपार्टमेंट ने. तो वी हैव टू केयरफुली ही सी, अदरवाइज नो अभी प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा. अभी तो आज की डेट में तो नया नया सिस्टम है, तो ट्रिब्यूनल आल्सो इज वेरी लिबरल, वो सब अलाउ कर रहा है, कंडोन कर रहा है, डिले वापस भेज रहा है. एक्सपार्टी ऑर्डर हो गया तो आईटीओ को या कमिश्नर को वापस भेज देते हैं, लेकिन बाद में ये पॉसिबल नहीं होगा. एक सबसे अच्छा ये भी इन्होंने किया है, ओरिजिनली आईटीओ जब एक्सपार्टी ऑर्डर करता था 144 में, तो इयर्स बैक देयर वाज अ प्रोविजन आईटीओ हैड पावर टू रीओपन दैट केस अंडर सेक्शन 140. एक्सपार्टी करने के बाद एक्सपार्टी को कैंसिल भी कर सकता था, रेगुलर ऑर्डर पास कर सकता था. फिर आईटीओ का पावर ही खत्म कर दिया, और कमिश्नर के पास पावर था, व्हेन कमिश्नर हैड राइट टू कैंसिल दैट ऑर्डर एंड टेल आईटीओ टू डीकंप्यूट द इनकम. फिर कमिश्नर का पावर भी खत्म हो गया. एज ऑन टुडे ओनली ट्रिब्यूनल हैव पावर टू कंसीडर द डेट, एक्सपार्टी ऑर्डर को कैंसिल करने का पावर ट्रिब्यूनल को है, एंड गिव बैक अपॉर्चुनिटी टू द आईटीओ और गिव बैक टू द अपना ये कमिश्नर अपील. अभी ये बजट में कमिश्नर को भी पावर दे दिया है, विच ही हैड अर्लियर, विच वाज विथड्रॉन लेटर ऑन. उसको भी पावर दिया है कि कमिश्नर आल्सो हैव पावर टू कैंसिल द ऑर्डर. और कॉल फॉर द डिमांड रिपोर्ट का तो पहले भी था. इस सर्टेन पेपर यू नॉट फाइल विद आईटीओ, एंड फर्स्ट टाइम यू आर फाइलिंग बिफोर कमिश्नर, एंड देयर पेपर्स आर वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट डॉक्यूमेंट टू डिसाइड योर अपील, देन कमिश्नर हैव पावर टू कॉल फॉर द डिमांड रिपोर्ट. सो कमिश्नर के बाद आप जाके डिमांड रिपोर्ट मांग सकते हैं, लेकिन अभी वो कमिश्नर ऑर्डर कैंसिल करके वापस भेज सकता है, जो उसको पावर अभी नहीं था थोड़े सालों में. तो दैट पावर अगेन है कम बैक. Madam, I will just finish in 5-7 minutes, then we'll take question answer. Revision of rate of security transaction tax. इन एसटीटी मैंने आपको बताया 2004 में लेके आए थे चिदम्बरम साहब. उसके बाद में एसटीटी वाज वेरी सक्सेसफुल. तो अभी उन्होंने क्या किया है कि जहां पे ऑप्शन सेल एंड ऑप्शन जो सिक्योरिटी में होता था, जहां पे एसटीडी था 6 पैसा 100 रुपए के ऊपर 0.0625, उसको उन्होंने 10 पैसा कर दिया है, तो रफली 50% से बढ़ा दिया है. एंड सेकंड, सेल ऑफ फ्यूचर एंड ऑप्शन में जो था, जहां पे 12.5 पैसा था 100 रुपए के ऊपर, उसको बढ़ा के 20 पैसा कर दिया है. सो जस्ट माइनर, बट ये ऐसा लगता है माइनर, 2 पैसा 3 पैसा, पर गवर्नमेंट का 12,500 करोड़ रुपए का कलेक्शन अभी 25,000 पहुंच जाएगा. TDS on payment of salary, remuneration, interest, bonus, commission by partnership firm or the partner. मैंने आपको बता दिया पहले कि partnership firm में also now we have to, when salary is given to a partner, we have to deduct the TDS. TCS on section 1 IAF of section 206 on notified goods. So now also we have to intimate to our employer, he will consider that for TDS purpose. Provision of section 44B relating to presumptive taxation of shipping business on non-resident shall therefore no longer apply of cruise ship business. Actually क्या हो गया है, मोदी जी टूरिज्म को इंडिया में बहुत डेवलप कर रहे हैं. आज एक फैशन हो गया, किसी आदमी के बच्चे की शादी करनी है और पैसे वाला है तो सब इंडिया के बाहर ही शादी करते हैं. कोई बैंकॉक जाता है, कोई स्विट्जरलैंड जाता है, कोई किधर जाता है, कोई किधर जाता है, और इंडिया के बाहर शादी हो रहा है. घूमने को जाने का भी फैशन हो गया. बच्चों का जब स्कूल खुलता है सब एक ही बात करते हैं, तू किधर घूम के आया, वो बोलेगा मैं स्विट्जरलैंड गया. तो वो बच्चा दूसरा बेचारा जो गरीब आदमी का बच्चा है, मिडिल क्लास होगा, वो थोड़ा उसको अजीब लगता है, ये स्विट्जरलैंड घूम के आएगा, हम साला राजस्थान भी नहीं जाकर आया. तो अभी मोदी जी ने क्या किया है, 20, 25, 50 जगह ऐसी इंडिया में सेलेक्ट की है, दे वांट टू डेवलप दैट. तो बहुत जगह रिवर है, बहुत जगह तालाब है, तो दे वांट टू ब्रिंग अपन फॉरेन जाते हैं, शिप पे बैठ के जाते हैं, क्रू वाला, तो दे वांट टू स्टार्ट दिस बिजनेस इंटरनली इंडिया आल्सो. कि गंगा जमुनी से जमुना में आएगा क्रू, जमुना से और किधर जाएगा और घूमेगा इंडिया के अंदर ही आपस में. पर इंडिया का बिजनेस इतना एक्टिव नहीं है. इंडिया में जो करेगा वो तो ठीक है, उसका तो नॉर्मल बिजनेस होगा, पर जो फॉरेनर आके इधर बिजनेस करेंगे और ये नया सिस्टम डेवलप करेंगे, आज मैं बोल रहा 3 दिन सी के अंदर घूम के आएगा, 3 दिन जमीन के ऊपर घूम के आएगा, तो वो सिस्टम इंडिया में जब चालू होगा तो फॉरेनर जो इंडिया में काम करेंगे, दे हैव टू पे 20% टैक्स इन इंडिया, बिकॉज उनको समझ में आता नहीं है इंडियन सिस्टम, कितना अकाउंट लिखना, ये करना, वो करना. तो बोले जो तुमने कमाया है वही दिन तुम 20% सीधा जितना कलेक्शन का दे दे इनकम टैक्स में. तो ये भी मेरे ख्याल से सिंप्लीफाई होगा, डायरेक्ट टैक्स भी रेवेन्यू होगा. और नॉर्मली फॉरेनर लोग क्या है, केस और इसमें लफड़े में गिरते नहीं है. इनकम व्हाटएवर इज देयर ऑन पेपर दैट इज रियल, हकीकत में वही होता है. टाइम लिमिट टू फाइल करेक्ट स्टेटमेंट इन रेस्पेक्ट ऑफ टीसीएस. अभी बहुत बार क्या होता है, आई फाइल माय रिटर्न टू क्लेम टीडीएस एंड टीसीएस, व्हाट आई सी बाय 26 AS AI एंड इंफॉर्मेशन, और उससे मेरा रिटर्न टैली होता है, तो व्हाटएवर माय टीडीएस अमाउंट आई क्लेम दैट ओनली. लेकिन few party had paid TDS after I filed my return. So earlier TDS was not appearing. Now TDS is appearing. Earlier I've shown that income also, but TDS I claim less. वो सिचुएशन के अंदर if I get my TDS afterwards, which appearing in 26 AS, और मेरा AI इंफॉर्मेशन में दिख रहा है TCS TDS, I can file. पहला तो रिवाइज रिटर्न फाइल करना पड़ता था, और रिवाइज रिटर्न का डेट भी खत्म हो गया. लास्ट ईयर क्या था, रिटर्न बनने का ऑडिट वाले का डेट था अक्टूबर, और रिवाइज रिटर्न का डेट था 31 दिसंबर. 31 दिसंबर 2 महीने में आ गया, मामला खत्म हो गया. सो आई कैन फाइल ए सिंपल लेटर विद असेसिंग ऑफिसर एंड ही विल गिव इफेक्ट ऑफ दैट. इन केस आई हैव नॉट टेकन दैट आइटम अंडर इनकम ऑल्सो, इनकम में भी मैंने नहीं लिया और टीडीएस में नहीं लिया है, और लेटर ऑन आई नो टीडीएस में डिडक्टेड बाय पार्टी, इनकम दे हैव नॉट पेड मी, दे हैव credited. So I can file my revised return, or I can file my amended return, or if I feel I am maintaining my accounts on cash basis, then I can claim the TDS as well as income in the next year. Similar with one amendment, if I am having dividend income or any business income from outside India, let us say I am getting dividend from outside India 2 lakh of rupees, and I am getting from Singapore. Let us say Singapore में TDS deducted at the rate of 20%. So मेरा 2 लाख में से 40,000 को काट देगा, 160 they will give me. Earlier what was the law? 160 I have to show in income. So India I received only 160. But if it is treaty with that country, भारत सरकार का वर्ल्ड में 213 या 214 कंट्री है, इसके अंदर 180 या 183 कंट्री में India have treaty with those country. Whatever tax they pay in India, they get set off in, they get set off. Whatever tax, क्या हो गया मैडम? Whatever tax they pay in India, they get set off there. And whatever tax they pay in that country, Indian paid in that country, they get off set off in India. They have to file 1 or 2 form here and there. अभी इसमें क्या हो गया? If Indian government have treaty with that country, तो 40,000 मैंने जो उधर भरा है सिंगापुर में, I will get set off in Indian income tax. मेरे को 40,000 इंडिया में कम भरने का है. तो मेरा टीडीएस पे टैक्स तो लगा ही नहीं किधर भी। उसके लिए उन्होंने अमेंडमेंट किया है कि मेरा ग्रॉस इनकम पकड़ा जाएगा 2 लाख रुपया, जो नॉर्मली इंडियन डिविडेंड में अपन करते हैं। टैक्स पेएबल विल बी ऑन 2 लाख, whatever tax payable I will get set off of 40,000. So the tax TDS जो कटा that was going earlier tax free, वो अभी taxable हो जाएगा और मेरे को टैक्स उसके ऊपर लगेगा। स्टेटमेंट फंड मैंने आपको ऑलरेडी बोल दिया है कि वॉट एवर स्टेटमेंट टू फाइल क्वार्टरली फॉर सेल ऑफ 30 लाख अबव इन बाय बिल्डर एंड वेरियस अदर पर्सन, दैट हैज टू बी फाइल इन, अदरवाइज उसका जो पेनल्टी लगता है वो और कम किया थोड़ा बहुत। Submission of statement by the licensing office of non-resident India. There are many foreign company, they don't have any place of business in India. So whenever Indian person make payment for their services rendered outside India, we are not supposed to do TDS because they are not liable to pay tax in India. If they have place of business in India, yes, we have to deduct. Safe side सब लोग काट लेते हैं, वो अलग बात है, legally we are not required. अभी उन्होंने क्या किया, मेनी पर्सन हैव लाइसेंसिंग ऑफिस इन इंडिया, दे डोंट डू बिजनेस हियर। वो स्टाफ का सैलरी भी दैट आल्सो कम फ्रॉम फॉरेन कंट्री, व्हाटएवर एक्सपेंडिचर इनकर्ड दैट कम फ्रॉम ऑल फॉरेन कंट्री, सो दे आर नॉट हैव एनी इनकम इन इंडिया, ऑल देयर एक्सपेंडिचर इनकर्ड बाय द फॉरेनर्स, फॉरेन कंपनी। सो व्हाटएवर एक्सपेंडिचर दे इनकर्ड इन इंडिया, दे हैव टू मेक वन स्टेटमेंट एंड गिव टू फाइल इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट। That is simple. So department can verify कि किसको किसको क्या पैसा दिया and whether those persons are taxable or whether those person have paid tax or not. So ऐसा because बहुत जगह ऐसा भी condition है, if because India have TT with various other country, let us assume कि UK का ऑफिस इंडिया में है और UK मतलब नॉट कंपनी का ऑफिस, UK गवर्नमेंट का जो क्या कहते हैं उसका एम्बेसी, अमेरिकन एम्बेसी इंडिया में है, यूके एम्बेसी है, और से फॉर एग्जाम्पल सम अनदर कंट्री का एम्बेसी है। अब यूके एम्बेसी के साथ भारत सरकार का टर्म कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है कि एनी पर्सन वर्किंग इन देयर एम्बेसी इन इंडिया, वेदर इट इज फॉरेनर और इंडियन, इज नॉट लायबल टू पे इनकम टैक्स। तो मेरा बहुत सारे फ्रेंड है जिसका सैलरी वहां से 50 लाख 60 लाख 70 लाख आता है, बट दे डोंट पे एनी टैक्स। सिमिलर वे अमेरिकन एम्बेसी में जो आदमी काम करता है, दे डोंट आल्सो पे। सेम वे इन फॉरेन कंट्री में भी इंडियन एम्बेसी में कोई फॉरेनर का भी आदमी काम करता है, दे आर आल्सो नॉट लायबल टू पे द टैक्स, so they can pay less salary or whatever the reciprocal arrangement. And similar way some Indian embassy अमेरिका में होगा, उधर भी अमेरिकन इंडिया के लोगों को टैक्स नहीं है, वो तो समझ में आ सकता है, पर अमेरिकन के आदमी को भी टैक्स नहीं है। सो दैट वे सिमिलर वे यहाँ पे लाइसेंसिंग ऑफिस का जो मैंने आपको बताया उसका भी उसको टैक्स नहीं लगता, बट दे टू फाइल द स्टेटमेंट। डिटरमाइन द आर्म्स लेंथ प्राइस इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ द स्पेसिफिक डोमेस्टिक ट्रांजेक्शन, 92 में सर्टेन अमेंडमेंट हुआ है, नॉन रेजिडेंट को लगते हैं। Amendment of section 271 FAA to comply with the automatic exchange of information and frame, because अभी क्या हो गया है, दुनिया से बहुत सारी कंट्री के साथ में अरेंजमेंट है, इंडिया का इंटरनल अरेंजमेंट है, रेसिप्रोकल अरेंजमेंट है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल जीएसटी में किधर रेट आता है और वहां से कुछ कैश मिलता है तो ऑटोमेटिक इनकम टैक्स वाला भी 4 दिन में पहुंच जाएगा, या इनकम टैक्स में अगर रेट आता है and income tax rate में something is found, then income tax will also reach to GST and excise and custom and this and reciprocal. Similar way, अमेरिका में somebody buy the property, Indian person, who is Indian citizen, intimation अपने यहाँ आ जाएगा, और फिर अपन कुछ प्रॉपर्टी वहां पे परचेज करते हैं तो वो भी इंटीमेशन वहां पे चली जाएगी। ऐसा रेसिप्रोकल अरेंजमेंट को और थोड़ा स्ट्रिक्ट किया है। अमेरिका तो बड़ा होशियार है, वो तो डिटेल देता नहीं है, अपना उनके आदमियों की डिटेल इंडिया से ले लेता है सबकी। एडजुडिकेटिंग लायबिलिटी अंडर ब्लैक मनी, वो ब्लैक मनी अपन टच नहीं कर रहे हैं। Then friends, few general points are there which I will take another 2 minutes. Amendment of section 147 अपने डील कर लिया है। अभी 147 में कैसा अमेंडमेंट आ गया एक्चुअली, पहले एक सेक्शन इनकम टैक्स में था सेक्शन 52(2). 52(2) में क्या होता था, इफ आई बाय, लेट अस से आई बाय ए प्रॉपर्टी, आई पेड 1 लाख रुपी, इनकम टैक्स स्टैम्प ड्यूटी वैल्यू इज 1 crore 1,25,000। so under 52(2) in section 52 subclause 2 may I was liable to pay tax on 25,000 extra amount, 25,000 पे whatever tax come. Then matter went to Supreme Court, litigation चला। Supreme Court said in a KP वर्गीस का केस में 131 ITR page number 594, and that judgment says that till department prove who paid the money under the table, from where that person got, who received, what he had done with that money, what is the evidences, ये तो पॉसिबल होता ही नहीं था, डील तो हो गया साल भर पहले। तो वो सिस्टम के अंदर कोई वो सेक्शन केपी वर्गीस ने एसएससी के फेवर में जजमेंट दिया, और 52 सेक्शन निकालना पड़ा। उसके बाद में अभी जजमेंट आया, अभी अमेंडमेंट हुआ 2 साल पहले वापस, और उन्होंने बोला वो पहले वाला सेक्शन वापस लेके आए। फिर उसके बाद उन्होंने वो 52 जब निकल गया केपी वर्गीस का, तो उन्होंने क्या सोचा कि बड़ा लंबा चौड़ा ब्लैक मनी रियल एस्टेट में, ज्वेलरी में, ये 2-3 बिजनेसमैन में ज्यादा है। तो रियल एस्टेट के लोगों क्या किया कि एनी पर्सन बाय एनी प्रॉपर्टी मोर देन 50,000, ये अमेंडमेंट हुआ था 71 के अंदर, 50,000, देन and when document go for registration, and if that paper go to the registrar, when registrar will intimate that paper to the income tax department, and if the income tax department want to acquire that property, then by paying 15% extra to the person, department can acquire. At that time, if form number 37G tha, so whenever you go for registration for any property exceeding 50,000, you are supposed to file form number 37G. वो 1982 तक चलता गया, सक्सेस नहीं हुआ, बिकॉज उसमें भी अपील का हक था और हर अपील फाइल होती थी और अपील में पार्टी जीत जाता था, और सेम रिलाइंग अपन केपी वर्गीस। उसके बाद में उन्होंने 1982 में नया फॉर्म चालू किया 37EE। डील होने के 30 डेज में आपको फॉर्म भरना पड़ता था, एंड डिपार्टमेंट है राइट टू एक्वायर बाय पेइंग 15% मनी, और वो भी चलता रह गया। उसमें भी थाउजेंड्स ऑफ एक्यूजेशन ऑर्डर पास हुए, बट अगेन सेम सिस्टम था उधर, वो भी सक्सेस नहीं हुआ। All persons succeeded before tribunal department cannot prove किधर से आया, क्या हुआ, किधर गया। Then they discontinued that also in 1986, and they came with another form, preemptive purchase, form number 37I. उसमें क्या होता था कि if you want to buy any property exceeding 10 lakh, you have to first write to the income tax department कि भाई you want to purchase, you purchase it. If you don't want to purchase, allow me to buy. और वो 37I चला, उसमें भी प्रॉपर्टी एक्वायर हुई। उसके बाद 37I का वैल्यू 75 लाख कर दिया गया। उसके बाद 2003 के अंदर वो 37I को एब्लॉज कर दिया और वो चैप्टर खत्म हो गया। तो कोई चेक अभी था नहीं। 2003 के बाद इनकम टैक्स एक्ट में सेक्शन 50C लेके आए। 50C में ये बोला कि whenever you sell, तो 37I, 37EE, 37G वो चैप्टर पूरा हो गया उधर, और गवर्नमेंट को सक्सेस कुछ हुआ नहीं। कुछ प्रॉपर्टियां उन्होंने ली, एक्वायर कर दी जबरदस्ती, और बाद में उन लोगों ने अपील भी नहीं किया। उन्होंने बोला हम तो बेचने का था, ये खरीदेंगे वो खरीदे, हमको तो पूरा पैसा मिल रहा है। तो देन दोज केसेस डिपार्टमेंट को सेल आफ्टर फ्यू ईयर एट अ हायर वैल्यू, फिर वो बंद हो गया। 2003 में 50C सेक्शन आ गया। 50C में पावर था कि इफ एनी पर्सन परचेज द सेल द प्रॉपर्टी फॉर वैसे 1 करोड़, स्टैम्प ड्यूटी वैल्यू इज 1 करोड़ 5 लाख, तो 5 लाख पे उसको टैक्स लगता था, और वो सेक्शन चलता गया। उसकी भी अपील हो रही है, सब कुछ चल रहा है सेपरेट। और वो पार्टी को अगर ऑब्जेक्शन करना है कि द वैल्यू, स्टैम्प ड्यूटी वैल्यू इज नॉट करेक्ट, माय वैल्यू इज ओनली दिस मच, देन ही राइट टू अप्लाई टू द डिपार्टमेंट फॉर द the valuation sale of the income tax department, can refer my case to valuation sale. If department value lower than that, then of course that value will be accepted. If department value higher than that, then stamp duty value, because the value cannot exceed more than the stamp duty value. In that system, वो भी चलता गया। 2019 में उन्होंने उसको 5% का मार्जिन दे दिया कि 5% डिफरेंस है तो चलेगा, 5% से ज्यादा नहीं चलेगा। 2010 में उसको 10% कर दिया कि एग्रीमेंट वैल्यू इज 2 लाख 2 करोड़ एंड स्टैम्प ड्यूटी वैल्यू इज मोर देन 220, वो नहीं चलेगा। ये वैल्यू इज लेस देन 220, वो कोई प्रॉब्लम एडिशन नहीं होगा। कोविड पीरियड में इफ समबडी बाइंग फ्लैट फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम एंड 2 करोड़ के नीचे एग्रीमेंट होता था, तो उसको 20% तक भी अलाउड था कुछ पीरियड के लिए। तो ये गाड़ी चलती गई। इसमें क्या होता था, कैपिटल एसेट वाले को लगा था, बिल्डर को नहीं लगा। 2003 के बाद जो आदमी सेल करता था, तो बिल्डर का तो बिजनेस इनकम होता है, तो असेसमेंट ईयर 13-14 में बिल्डर के लिए सेक्शन 43CA लेके आए, और 43CA में बिल्डर सेम प्रोविजन में आपको बोला 50C में ऑर्डिनरी पर्सन के लिए बिल्डर को भी लगा, लेकिन ये सब लगा सेलर को। बिल्डर भी सेलर है, कैपिटल एसेट भी सेल करना उसको लगा 50C में। परचेजर को उन्होंने कवर किया 2017 के अंदर कि भाई अगर कोई परचेजर परचेज करता है और चेक से भी कोई पैसा देता है और एग्रीमेंट वैल्यू से कम होता है पैसा, तो उसको भी ऐड होगा 56-10 में। सो एज ऑन टुडे पोजीशन क्या हो गया, सेलर को टैक्स लगता है 50C में, और या 43CA में, परचेजर को लगता है 56-10 में। तो ये सब ध्यान में रखते हुए बड़े लिटिगेशन हुए। सबसे बड़ा लिटिगेशन एक आया कि जो चीज का आपका कॉस्ट नहीं है, यू कांट वर्क आउट कैपिटल गेन ऑन दैट, सो यू आर नॉट लायबल टू पे टैक्स, because to work out the capital gain what is required is the first sale value, then you to say cost. if cost ही नहीं तो कैसा आगे बढ़ेगा गाड़ी। तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जजमेंट आया बीसी श्रीनिवासन शेट्टी के केस में 128 ITR, page number 214, that amount is not taxable at all. Any income which falls in a sixth head of income, salary, interest on security, house property, capital gain, business income, other sources में interest, dividend, others, annuity, इसके अलावा कोई आइटम है तो टैक्सेबल नहीं है. फिर उनको लगा बहुत सारे आइटम्स की कॉस्ट नहीं है, वो टैक्स नहीं लग रहा है. फिर धीरे धीरे 5 आइटम को वो राजने में लाए. इवन आपका कॉस्ट नहीं है तो कॉस्ट विल बी टेकन इज जीरो और आपको टैक्स लगेगा. गुडविल, टेनेंसी राइट, रोड परमिट, लूम परमिट, पेंटिंग, ये 5-7 आइटम को ऐड करके उस पर टैक्स लगाना चालू किया. उसके अलावा आज भी बहुत सारी चीजें फ्री है. अभी प्रॉब्लम एक आ गया, 2 साल पहले अमेंडमेंट आ गया कि कोई भी चीज में टैक्स नहीं लगेगा तो वो सेक्शन 52(2) में आएगा, जो 1975 में एबॉलिश हो गया. फिर इनको रियलाइज हुआ कि यार 52(2) में तो केपी वर्गीस का जजमेंट ऑलरेडी है, लिटिगेशन भी होएगा, डिपार्टमेंट को फाइनली लिटिगेशन नहीं चाहिए, पैसा चाहिए, टैक्स आवे किधर से. तो अभी उन्होंने सेक्शन 50D एंड 50CA लेके आए कि उसमें टेस्ट होगा, और अगर कोई चीज फ्री है एंड दैट कैन बी टैक्स्ड हियर तो यहां पे टैक्स लग जाएगा. दैट इज होल समरी ऑफ व्हाट आई टोल्ड यू. Discontinuation of the provision allowing quoting the Aadhaar enrollment ID in place of Aadhaar number. Power of the commissioner appeal, मैंने बोला सेट का पावर उसको मिल गया है. Amendment of provision of TCS on sale of immovable property. एक मैंने प्रॉपर्टी समझो बेचा, हम इसे लेटर से खरीदा, हम 4 भाई ने मिलकर एक प्रॉपर्टी खरीदा 2 करोड़ के अंदर. टीडीएस कभी लगता है, रेजिडेंट के लिए 1%, नॉन रेजिडेंट के लिए 23.92%. If non-resident feel कि उसको 23% टैक्स नहीं आने वाला है, he can apply for the lower TDS. And if ITO grant करेगा तो आपको उतना ही काटने का है, ज्यादा वाला नहीं काटने का है. लेकिन अब इसमें क्या होता था कि समझो मैंने 4 भाई ने मिलकर प्रॉपर्टी खरीद ली 2 करोड़ में, हर एक ने 50-50 लाख दिया, तो उसके अंदर टीडीएस नहीं लगता था. टीडीएस लगता था इफ अमाउंट इज मोर देन 50 लाख. तो हम तो बोलेंगे हमारा इंडिविजुअल केस में तो 50 लाख दिया है, टोटल भले 2 करोड़ हो गए, उससे क्या हो गया. तो अभी अमेंडमेंट आ गया कि नाउ यू डोंट हैव टू सी प्रॉपर्टी वैल्यू ऑफ द पर्सन हु पे, व्हाट इज द वैल्यू ऑफ द प्रॉपर्टी. इफ प्रॉपर्टी इज मोर देन 50 लाख ऑफ रुपी देन आपको टीडीएस काटना पड़ेगा, अदरवाइज काटने की जरूरत नहीं है. तो अगर मेरा इंडिविजुअल कितना है वो रिलेवेंट नहीं है, प्रॉपर्टी का ट्रांजेक्शन कितना है. प्रॉपर्टी का ट्रांजेक्शन ही 50 लाख से नीचे है. और सेकंड अमेंडमेंट 2 साल पहले भी हो गया था कि यू डोंट हैव टू सी द कॉस्ट, यू टू सी द मार्केट वैल्यू ऑफ स्टैम्प ड्यूटी. अभी मैंने कोई फ्लैट बेचा 48 लाख में, कोई आता ही नहीं है, प्रोविजन नहीं लगता है, बट परचेजर ने स्टैम्प ड्यूटी भरी है 52 लाख पे, मार्केट वैल्यू 52 लाख आती है स्टैम्प ड्यूटी के हिसाब से, तो उसको टीडीएस भी लग जाएगा 52 लाख के हिसाब से. तो आपको एग्रीमेंट वैल्यू पे नहीं काटने का, स्टैम्प ड्यूटी वैल्यू पे काटने का है. इवन इट लेस देन 50 लाख, यू टू काउंट मोर देन 50 लाख इफ स्टैम्प ड्यूटी वैल्यू इज देयर. और इवन 5-6 लोगों ने मिलकर भी लिया है तो देन यू टू काउंट द वैल्यू ऑफ द प्रॉपर्टी एंड नॉट वैल्यू ऑफ ए पर्टिकुलर पर्सन. इंक्लूजन ऑफ टैक्सेस विद आउटसाइड इंडिया, मैंने आपको बोल ही दिया ऑलरेडी. I think these were the friends important point as far budget is concerned, particularly connected to the income tax. I try to cover everything whatever possible. कुछ भी बचेगा आप अभी क्वेश्चन में पूछ सकते हैं, मेरे को मेल डाल सकते हैं, मैडम को बोल दीजिए, मैडम मेरे को भेज देगी, मैं आपको जवाब दे दूंगा. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for this wonderful presentation. And I'm just due to some technical glitch, I'm unable to on my camera. But sir, there are questions for you by Mr. I'll read the questions for you, sir.
Please, if possible.
है ना?
Yes, please,
ठीक है.
please.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
So, there's a question from Rahul. We have been provided all details, even department treat bogus loan because a statement given by third party under section 130 fund. Then what to do?
So what ITO is making addition or what he is doing actually?
Rahul, the question is not very clear.
Rahul bhai, थोड़ा question clear करो ना, मतलब what actually ITO want to make so I can tell you.
ठीक है sir. By the meanwhile, Rahul.
Let us assume principally. Let us assume that ITO want to make
question.
addition on account of a loan. Let us assume that somebody
Yes.
made a statement. I do only hawala business and I given loan to this party, which is bogus. I have not really not given a check, taken a cash. Now what you have to prove कि वो आदमी क्या बोलता है वो रिलेवेंट अपने लिए नहीं है. अपनी बुक्स के हिसाब से वेदर आई एम एबल टू प्रूव द आइडेंटिटी ऑफ द पर्सन, वो आदमी जेन्युइन है. अगर उसने बोगस काम किया तो उसमें जाके ऐड करो, मेरे में कैसे ऐड कर सकते हैं. आइडेंटिटी ऑफ द ट्रांजेक्शन, चेक से पैसा आया है, चेक से मैंने पैसा दिया है, इंटरेस्ट भरा है, इंटरेस्ट उसने शो किया है उसके प्रॉफिट लॉस अकाउंट में, इंटरेस्ट पे टीडीएस उसने क्लेम किया है, बैलेंस शीट में लोन दिखा रहा है. तो एंड क्रेडिट वर्दीनेस उस आदमी की वर्थ है. जब चेक से पैसा दिया है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल उसका कैपिटल भले 2 लाख रुपया ही है, उसने लोन मेरे को 50 लाख का दे दिया और उसका टर्नओवर करोड़ों में है, तो करोड़ सेल में से भी दे सकता है। तो इफ यू प्रूव बेसिकली 3-4 थिंग, आपको मिल जाएगा बेनिफिट।
ठीक है। So the next question is, will taxation in case of buyback be on the entire buyback price or the original cost will be allowed as a deduction?
नहीं, बायबैक में मेरी पर्सनल व्यू तो ये है कि ओरिजिनल कॉस्ट विल बी अलाउड, पर अभी जितने भी एग्जांपल आ रहे हैं, और रेवेन्यू सेक्रेटरी ने भी स्टेटमेंट कुछ दिया है और फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर ने भी कहा था कि बाईबैक में जो पैसा मिलेगा आपको पूरे पे डिविडेंड इनकम गिना जाएगा, और ये लॉस होगा वो आपका कैरी फॉरवर्ड होगा और आगे प्रॉफिट में एडजस्ट होगा। मेरे हिसाब से ये गलत है। मेरे को पैसा मिल किस बात कर रहा है, शेयर है इसके लिए तो मिल रहा है, तो शेयर का कॉस्ट का डिडक्शन तो व्यवहार से मिलना ही चाहिए। तो जैसा वो बोल रहे हैं प्रॉपर्टी में स्टाम्प ड्यूटी रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं मिलेगा, तो वैसा ये इधर इन्होंने किया है। पर मेरे हिसाब से फाइनली जब एक्ट आएगा तो 99% कॉस्ट विल बी अलाउड।
Okay, ठीक है। So the next question, how to treat the consideration from waiver of life interest in immovable property?
नहीं, लाइफ इंटरेस्ट इन मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी ट्रस्ट का एक अलग चैप्टर है, अमेंडमेंट से मेरे को लगता नहीं कोई लेना देना है।
Okay,
लाइफ इंटरेस्ट इन मूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी कहाँ पे निकालना है, वो तो सेपरेट एंटिटी ऑल टुगेदर, उसका तो वैल्यू किधर होने वाला नहीं है। जैसे मैंने एक ट्रस्ट बना लिया, मैंने
जी।
ट्रस्ट बना लिया, समझो 1 करोड़ रुपए का ट्रस्ट से मैंने मेरे बच्चों को बिगनिंग में 5 लाख रुपया डाला, एक फैमिली ट्रस्ट बनाया, जैसे भी विमल पुनिया फैमिली ट्रस्ट, जिसके अंदर मैं भी बेनिफिशियरी हूँ, मेरी वाइफ बेनिफिशियरी है और दोनों बच्चे बेनिफिशियरी है। और मैंने ये भी लिखा कि जब तक मैं या मेरी वाइफ जिंदा है ट्रस्ट डिसॉल्व नहीं होएगा, वी हैव ऑल द राइट टू एंजॉय द मनी, बट एंड ऑफ द डे दिस मनी विल बी डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड व्हेन माय चिल्ड्रन बिकम मोर देन 30 ईयर ओल्ड, सन एंड डॉटर बोथ, इट विल बी डिवाइडेड टू देम। सो इसका तो अभी एज ऑन टुडे आपको इंटरेस्ट वैल्यू किधर करना है, इनकम टैक्स में कोई इनकम है नहीं मेरी ट्रस्ट में, और ट्रस्ट में इनकम आएगी और शेयर ऑफ बेनिफिशियरी एलोकेट होगा तो मेरे इनकम में आ जाएगी जो मेरा शेयर होगा। ट्रस्ट खुद को टैक्स भरने का है तो ट्रस्ट अपना खुद का टैक्स भरेगी, तो मेरा टैक्स लगेगा भी नहीं, क्योंकि डिस्क्रिशनरी ट्रस्ट है, ट्रस्ट के अंदर ही पैसा रहने वाला है, जिसको जरूरत होगी उतना ट्रस्टी लोग उसको देंगे, तो ट्रस्ट खुद टैक्स भरेगा अपना, तो मेरा टैक्स लगेगा नहीं। वेल्थ टैक्स खत्म हो चुका है, गिफ्ट टैक्स खत्म हो चुका है, एस्टेट ड्यूटी है नहीं। अब जब भी एस्टेट ड्यूटी आएगी, मेरे ख्याल से 99% आने वाली नहीं है, आई थी 1982 में इंदिरा गांधी ने एस्टेट ड्यूटी को निकाल दिया था, उसके बाद में वापस आएगी मेरे को डाउट है, लाएंगे तो मोदी जी लाएंगे, राहुल गांधी का आ गया तो लाने वाला भी नहीं है मेरे को श्योर है, लेकिन मोदी जी शायद लेके आवे, को अमेरिका इंग्लैंड सब जगह पे है, तो थोड़ा बहुत फ्रैक्शन लेके आवे, तो वो टाइम फॉर्मूला भी आएगा कैसे वर्किंग करने का, अप्रूव वैल्यू और वर्किंग करेगा कि भाई मेरी उम्र समझो आज 72 ईयर मैं हूं, एक्सपेक्टेड लाइफ कितना गिनेंगे आदमी का इंडियन रूल के हिसाब से 85 ईयर, तो मेरा 13 ईयर में मेरे को क्या क्या वहां से मिलने वाला है, क्या मैं ट्रस्ट को डिजोल्व करके पैसा भी वापस मेरे पे आ सकता है या खाली इनकम ही आएगी, तो उसको कैपिटलाइज करेंगे और सम फॉर्मूला निकालेंगे उसका।
ओके, ग्रेट। सर, जो राहुल का आंसर किया था दैट इज द परफेक्ट, हिज क्वेश्चन इज सॉल्व्ड।
Oh, very good.
Okay, we got a reply from him. The next question from Pawan ji is, will government can again bring indexation for computing LTCG in the year 2025-26 budget or in subsequent years?
Yeah, possible है, everything is possible. अभी तो क्या है एक्चुअली, आज तो सिचुएशन ऐसा है नहीं सर कि 140 करोड़ की पॉपुलेशन में टैक्स पेयर कितना है, 8 लाख 8 करोड़, तो आजकल तो नंबर काउंट करते हैं, जिधर से समझो टैक्स पेयर 40 करोड़ हो गए और सब वो करेंगे इंडेक्सेशन, लेके आएगा इंडेक्सेशन।
ठीक है। The last question of the day, if this is from Ravi, if any person selling his grandfather rural non-agriculture land, grandfather का rural area में non-agriculture land है of ₹4 crore, then what is it compulsory? I need to take valuation report from government approved valuer उसका valuation.
उसमें सर ऐसा है, जब आप बेचने को जाएंगे तो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ महाराष्ट्र ने, गवर्नमेंट के हर एक स्टेट ने, पूरा हिंदुस्तान में अभी रेडी रखने वैल्यू आ गया है, अलग अलग जगह पे अलग अलग हिसाब से। पहला बात आपको ये देखना पड़ेगा उस जगह का रेक्टर वैल्यू क्या है, नंबर 1। उसके बाद में वेदर यू आर लायबल टू पे टैक्स ऑन दैट, वो मैं आपको समझाता हूँ, कभी कोई लायबिलिटी आएगी कभी नहीं आएगी। अगर इफ यू आर नॉट लायबल टू पे द टैक्स तो आपको कुछ करना ही नहीं है, जो पैसा आया वो बैंक में डालने का है, एग्रीमेंट कम होगा तो भी चलेगा, ज्यादा होगा तो भी चलेगा। अगर आप एक कंपनी को बेच रहे हैं, किसी को इंडिविजुअल को बेच रहे हैं, तो एग्रीकल्चर लैंड ही रहेगी। अगर यू आर सेलिंग टू ए कंपनी, पार्टनरशिप फर्म, प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी और ए पार्टनरशिप फर्म और ए लिमिटेड कंपनी, तो इसका स्टैंप ड्यूटी जो लगेगा वो नॉन एग्रीकल्चर लैंड के हिसाब से लगेगा। इनकम टैक्स से उसका भी लेना देना नहीं है, वो स्टैम्प ड्यूटी वो भरेगा। अभी मेन पॉइंट आया इनकम टैक्स का कि आपको इनकम टैक्स लगेगा कि नहीं लगेगा। नॉर्मल रूल है, अर्बन लैंड है टैक्स लगेगा, एग्रीकल्चर लैंड है रूरल एरिया में टैक्स नहीं लगेगा। पर ये तो एक पॉइंट हुआ। दूसरा आपको देखने का है कि जगह है कहां पे, म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन से 10 किलोमीटर दूर है और वो गांव की पॉपुलेशन 10,000 से कम है, आपको नहीं लगेगा। दैट इज फॉर्मूला नंबर 2। अगर यहीं पे आपकी गाड़ी पूरी हो जाती है तो झगड़ा खत्म। एग्रीकल्चर लैंड है, वो गांव की पॉपुलेशन 10,000 से नीचे है, एंड आपका वहां पे म्युनिसिपलिटी कॉर्पोरेशन से 10 किलोमीटर दूर है, नियरेस्ट म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन। और 4-5 म्युनिसिपलिटी होगी तो आपको सबसे कम वाला पकड़ना पड़ेगा, और वो 10 किलोमीटर से दूर है तो आपको नहीं लगेगा। तो आगे आपको बढ़ना ही नहीं है, मजा करो। लेकिन आपको लगता है कि 10 किलोमीटर के अंदर भी है और गांव की पॉपुलेशन भी 10,000 से ज्यादा है, तो तीसरी खिड़की और एक छूटने के लिए कि आपको देखने का कि पहला तो नियरेस्ट म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन कौन सा है वो फाइंड आउट करो। वो कॉर्पोरेशन से आपकी जो एग्रीकल्चर लैंड है वो कितने किलोमीटर पे है, और उस म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन का पॉपुलेशन 1 लाख के नीचे है क्या। क्योंकि 10,000 से नीचे होगा तो म्युनिसिपलिटी बनेगी नहीं, 10,000 से ऊपर तो होगा ही होगा, और 1 लाख से नीचे है और आपकी जमीन 2 किलोमीटर के बाहर है, 2 किलोमीटर के अंदर है तो आपको टैक्स लगेगा, 2 किलोमीटर के बाहर है तो आपको नहीं लगेगा। सेकंड, अगर म्युनिसिपलिटी का पॉपुलेशन 1 लाख से ज्यादा है और 10 लाख से कम है, 1 लाख से ज्यादा है म्युनिसिपलिटी का, गांव का तो है ही नहीं, म्युनिसिपलिटी का 1 लाख से ज्यादा 10 लाख से कम, और आपकी लैंड 6 किलोमीटर के बाहर है तो आपको नहीं लगेगा। 6 किलोमीटर के अंदर है लगेगा। अगर आपकी पॉपुलेशन 10 लाख से भी ज्यादा है, म्युनिसिपलिटी की पॉपुलेशन 10 लाख से भी ज्यादा है और आपकी जमीन 6-8 किलोमीटर के बाहर है तो आपको नहीं लगेगा, अदरवाइज लगेगा। लेकिन आपके गांव की पॉपुलेशन भी 10,000 से कम है और 10 किलोमीटर से दूर है म्युनिसिपलिटी से, तो कुछ भी नहीं लगेगा, आपको थर्ड कैलकुलेशन में जाना ही नहीं है, सेकंड में ही आपका गंगा स्नान हो गया।
Amazing, sir. Amazing. What a calculation and the numbers you remember, the provisions. Like, this is what the name is. Really, sir, you are a brand.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And the next question and the last question, sir, in case of cash deposits cases treated as undisclosed income under section 68 or 69, assessment done by assessing officer under section 144 as a best judgment assessment, whether all such cases of appeal before CIT appeals are set aside and transferred to assessing officer again for reconsideration. Is it possible?
एक्चुअली ऐसा है, सीआईटी अपील को तो सेट का पावर ही नहीं था, ये बजट में मिला है, अभी गेट ही विल एबल टू डू वंस ही बिकम एक्ट। लेकिन इन केस सीआईटी विल व्हाटएवर ही डिसाइड, बिकॉज ये असेसमेंट ये 17-18 से चालू हुआ है, डिमोनेटाइजेशन के बाद में लोगों ने केस भरा था। मोदी जी ने बोला भी था लेडीज को 2.5 लाख तक अलाउड है, अलाउड मींस उसको सवाल जवाब नहीं होता था, तो 2.5 लाख भरा होगा तो प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। पर बॉम्बे में बहुत सारे ज्वेलर्स ने क्या किया था, ज्वेलरी के बिल बना दिए थे, स्टॉक था उनके पास में, और ज्वेलरी बेच दिया और ऐसा करके केस भरा है। और मेरे पास कम से कम 50 क्लाइंट आए होंगे जिसमें 10 करोड़ 20 करोड़ 25 करोड़ तक उन्होंने केस भरा था। बेसिकली आपको यह प्रूव करना है जो केस भरा हो आपके केस बुक में दिख रहा है क्या, वेदर ऑन अकाउंट ऑफ सेल ही आया हुआ और तो कहां से आएगा वो, या सेव ओपनिंग बैलेंस है आपके पास में, या सेल हुआ है और वो सेल आपने जीएसटी रिटर्न में दिखाया है, और वो जीएसटी या वेट या जो भी जिस टाइम में जो था, और वो पैसा अगर आपका अकाउंटेड है एंड ऑलरेडी दैट इज ए पार्ट ऑफ ए सेल्स और करस्पॉन्डिंग परचेज आपका है ये सामने, और प्रॉफिट वगैरह में टैक्स भरा हुआ है, तो आपको अलाउ होना ही होना है। लेकिन बिकॉज ये एक्स पार्टी ऑर्डर है, सीआईटी पे अगर सेटिस्फाइड नहीं भी करेगा तो आपको अभी बजट के बाद तो करेगा पास होने के बाद, लेकिन आपका अपील समझो उसके पहले आ गया, या सीआईटी बोलता नहीं नहीं तो अभी प्रोस्पेक्टिव है, बाद में अप्लीकेबल होगा, ओल्ड को नहीं लगेगा, गॉड नोज व्हाट सीआईटी विल टेक ए व्यू। क्योंकि जब से फेसलेस हो गया है सबकी दुकान बंद हो गई है, किसको कुछ पैसा मिलता नहीं है इनकम टैक्स में, और वी डोंट इवन नो हु इज द कमिश्नर हु इज आईटीओ, तो सबका दिमाग ऐसे भी खराब हुआ है और कुछ काम भी नहीं हो रहा है। मेजोरिटी सीआईटी विल नॉट डूइंग एनी वर्क एक्चुअली, अपीलें पेंडिंग है 5-5 6-6 साल से, एंड मोदी जी इज अवेयर ऑफ दैट। तो अभी लास्ट बजट में भी उन्होंने 100 एडिशनल पोस्ट डाली थी जॉइंट कमिश्नर की, ये बजट में भी और डाल रहे हैं कि भी चलो सीआईटी से अपील से मैटर नीचे वालों को भेजो और वो आदमी फास्ट असेसमेंट करेगा। तो अभी वो सिचुएशन के अंदर आपको रीजनेबल एक्सप्लेनेशन तो बनाना ही पड़ेगा कि भी पैसा मेरा बुक्स में था पहले, ये चीजें मैंने बेची है, ये मेरा जैसे किसी का कपड़े का बिजनेस है उसका नॉर्मल केस आता ही आता है। मैं कल परसों मेरा केस आया था, एक आदमी का एक का बिजनेस है और वो केस में ही अंडे बेचता है, तो उसको तो अभी सेल हो गया तो क्या करेगा, बैंक में डालेगा, परचेज तो है सामने, प्रॉफिट ही तो कमाया है और सेल में दिख रहा है तो उसको मिलेगा बेनिफिट। लेकिन अगर आपको रीजनेबल केस बताएगा, ट्रिब्यूनल में बोलेंगे कि सर दिस इज माय सोर्स ऑफ कैश, ये कैश मैंने बैंक में डिपॉजिट किया है, पहले वाले सालों में भी मेरा इतना कैश होता है, बहुत बार होता है पूरे साल कैश नहीं आता, दिवाली के टाइम पे कैश आता है जबरदस्त, तो मेरा पहले के 2-3 साल में भी यही ट्रेंड है, सब्सिक्वेंट पीरियड में भी यही ट्रेंड है, तो हो सकता है आपका ट्रिब्यूनल अलाउ भी कर देवे, लेकिन एज एक्सपर्ट ऑर्डर हुआ है, ट्रिब्यूनल आपको वापस भेज देगी आईटीओ के पास में विथ डायरेक्शन कि वेरीफाई केस, वेरीफाई दिस, वेरीफाई दैट, और ये कंडीशन फुलफिल होता है अलाउ करो, ये फुलफिल नहीं होता है तो सेट डिसाइड करो, और डी वो करेगी कि यू अप्लाई योर माइंड फ्रेश एंड डिसाइड व्हाट एवर एज पर लॉ, अगेन उसके सामने सीआईडीपी है, वहां पर ट्रिब्यूनल है।
Thank you, sir. Sir, with these, we are done with all the questions asked. And sir, I would really extend my heartfelt gratitude to you for the time you have devoted for all our audience. And I also thank all the organizations who have supported us for organizing this budget union analysis and its impact. And I would like to recognize again the presence of President Advocate Jaideep Patel, President of Tax Advocate Association of Gujarat, for his support and being here with all of us and being part of this webinar. I also recognize the presence of Advocate Shailesh Makhwana ji, the President of Gujarat State Tax Bar Association, the CA Ashish Tekwani ji, the immediate past president of Income Tax Bar Association. CA Abhay Chandalia ji has joined us all the way from Delhi. He is the managing director of Share Samadhan Limited. Recently, he had listed his company and brought a very successful IPO. Congratulations, sir, and thank you for joining. Sir ne abhi join kiya. He was busy in some meeting. And sir has graced our event with his presence. Thank you, sir, for joining. Also, CA Dr. Vishwas Shahji, the president of All Gujarat Federation of Tax Consultants, and CA Asha Sharma, a very dear friend and a very active tax practitioner. She is always there to solve the queries of all the members, and she more or less she is the part of GyaanStation family. Thank you, Asha, for being always supportive. This all our panelists, sir, and without whom this webinar won't be possible. And I thank above all our audience for maintaining the pace. In this hard time of income tax, we got more than 500 registrations on paper, and more than 200 participants were present throughout the webinar. So this is just 3 days before income tax. So I thank all the members also for joining us, and above all the speakers. And now I request Shailesh Makhwana ji to please give the vote of thanks to our speakers, organizers, and importantly our audience, the President of Gujarat State Tax Bar Association. Over to you, sir.
आवाज आ रही है ना?
जी सर, प्लीज।
आज के इस वेबिनार में फर्स्ट सेशन में जो सीए बिमल भाई जैन साहब दिल्ली से थे, वो आज कलकत्ता से अपने साथ ज्वाइंट होके जो 53 काउंसिल मीटिंग में जो भी चेंजेस हुए उसके ऊपर जो अपने को बहुत ही अच्छी तरह से उसका नॉलेज का अपने को शेयरिंग किया है, उसके लिए फर्स्ट अपने बिमल भाई जैन सर को बहुत ही दिल से आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ। सेकंड सेशन में जो बैटिंग किया है 90 मिनट से पूरे, अभी अपने कोहली की तरफ से जो बैटिंग कर रहे हैं बिमल भी बुनिया सर जी, मैं सुन रहा हूँ कब से, पहले से ही अब तक सुन रहा हूँ। बहुत ही अच्छी तरह से आपने जो आपका नॉलेज का शेयरिंग किया है, सही में सैल्यूट है सर आपको। हम मेरे पूरे सब एसोसिएशन, ब्रदर एसोसिएशन के साथ आपका सैल्यूट करके आभार व्यक्त करते हैं। उसके साथ कंडक्ट करते हुए अपने दीप्ति बहन जैन जो यह पूरा ये ऑर्गेनाइज के कंडक्ट किया है पूरी GyaanStation से, उसका भी आभार व्यक्त करते हैं। मेरे पूरे ब्रदर्स एसोसिएशन और ब्रदर प्रोफेशनल को ये ज्वाइंट सब ज्वाइंट हुए, उसके लिए भी सबका आभार व्यक्त करते हैं। जय हिंद, जय हिंद, जय भारत।
थैंक यू एवरीवन। आप सब सर का द्वारा पूरा स्टडी मटेरियल बजट एनालिसिस पे विमल सर ने बहुत अच्छे से प्रिपेयर किया, पूरा डिटेल्ड 70+ पेजेस का स्टडी मटेरियल है। यू कैन गो थ्रू दैट, वेरी इंफॉर्मेटिव। उसका लिंक मैं शेयर कर देती हूँ, आप प्लीज ये कम्युनिटी ज्वाइन कर लीजिए, क्योंकि इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर अस टू सेंड द स्टडी मटेरियल इंडिविजुअली। तो आप यहाँ पे ज्वाइन करिए। इन केस यू डोंट रिसीव इट, तो आई जस्ट शेयर माई नंबर ऑल्सो, तो यू कैन व्हाट्सएप मी। पर इतना भी करने का जरूरत नहीं है, आप डायरेक्टली कम्युनिटी लिंक में आपको रात तक दोनों सर्स का, विमल सर एंड विमल सर, you will get the study material. And thank you all for joining. Somehow I'm feeling कि मेरा camera, due to technical reason, I'm not able to switch on. But sir, thank you so much. Personally, I thank each one of you for being part of it. आगे ही हम बहुत अच्छा और करने की कोशिश करेंगे। ऐसे ही अच्छे webinars, programs will try to bring for the benefit of our professional brothers and sisters. Thank you so much everyone for joining. And विमल सर, आपको और हम चाहेंगे कि आप और आए, the energy you carry is
Sure.